And back to work, slackers. No more homeless in Hawaii. Oh man, I wonder how many people like that title on my video. Maybe not enough clickbait for most people. Good morning, big bro. I see you're Robert. I guess I don't have to text you anymore since you seem to have gotten my live notification. I do have to do a couple of things on here before I actually get started. Man, I'm gonna tell you, it feels so good to be back. It does. Mixed feelings, of course. I really, really enjoy Hawaii, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Um, but I really want to get caught up with all the news that we have today. I do have some clips ready for you guys to review with me, and we're going to go over them here very soon. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome. Just drop a line as you're coming in. Don't be shy. I wanted to do, I always try to do things a little bit different when I start the show because, I don't really know how this algorithm, uh, goes crazy or good or bad or whatever the hell we want to call it. But I'm trying to do maybe I do a pre-setup or do I set it up as we're speaking? I will assume that the best way to do it is to do a pre-setup. But for some reason, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people don't get the notifications and other things as well that has a lot to do with it. I guess I had tried to do three lives, through the day, two lives. Now is one live a day, and I just don't seem to get the information that I'm looking for. When I'm doing this show. So let me pull up one more window here. One more window so that I can see your chats. Don't seem to. There we go. It's just my what you call it. Uh, I don't know. My brain just went blank. Still vacation mode. Still vacation mode. It wasn't really a vacation. But let's see who's in the chat here. Let's say good morning. Before we get started, before we get to the nitty gritty, let's go ahead and see who is on the chat today. Jason Martin, how are you, my friend? Don't think I didn't get your messages. I replied to as many as I could. A lot of people were actually messaging me this time that I was in Hawaii. So I thank you guys for that. Unfortunately, I don't have time for hundreds of people in 2 days. So I appreciate you guys reaching out and I appreciate you guys understanding that there is a lot of people that I actually talk to every day. So I can't always get, to you guys as much as I would love to. I know you guys understand that. I appreciate it. Magic Man, good to see you as well, my friend. Robert, you were the first one I say hello since you sent me the message. When you called me, I was outside with Grandpa, spending some time with the old man. Still listening to news, but spending some time with the old man. And my man, what's going on, man? Good to see you on here, man. It's good to be back home. It really is. Back to my safe space, like the trolls say when they come in here. I'm back in my safe space where I'm happy. What do you guys think about the United States of America? I'm starting to look more Texan, honestly. I think I'm starting to look more Texan, but I just really like the style. So sue me. I know most of you guys don't care. You guys understand what the hell we're all about. Somebody got blocked already? What happened? Let me see. What screenshot? Let's see. Oh, Magic Man is already complimenting the shirt. So that's what I'm talking about. Who got blocked? Somebody got blocked in here. What happened? What did you do? Let's see. Sazazo, what did he say? Oh, I think that was Streamlabs. Yeah, Streamlabs doesn't like this algo sometimes. Too many emojis at one time. It's all right. Now, some of the people that are here with me constantly, or most of the time, they get access to admin right away because I don't want it to be blocked. But everybody else needs to just watch what you're posting in there, because sometimes even if it's good, Streamlabs is very picky, and I don't want to get rid of Streamlabs because it does catch some stuff that comes through here. So let's see, Charlie also. Did Charlie get blocked too? Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Zaza. That is gonna trigger the whole damn internet with that shirt. You already know, baby. You already know. I'm gonna say, how dare you? You're insulting the American flag by wearing it. Man, this is the one freedom of speech that I think should be protected. Man. You know, I was thinking about applying to go work for Boeing. Now, the truth is, I don't know shit about Boeing. All I know is that I love planes, and I love to be able to work on the things that go on the plane. Like for example, let me see. Do I show you guys? Okay, everybody's gonna get a little peek because I have a video. I have a video coming for my members only. Probably gonna be bored as hell, but but I still have a video coming. Let me see if I can prep this really quick here. Let me see if I can prep this. I wanna show you something. Did I take a picture of that? Let me see. Let me see. I'll try to I'll try to get the audio down. I want to show you guys something. Let me put it here. Now, the reason why I'm going to show you this is because when I was on the plane, and many people do this when they're on flight, but I want to show you this because this I was showing it to my wife live, okay, through FaceTime, and the technology that we have nowadays, it's so amazing. Like even though I know what it's capable of doing, I think it's so awesome to be able to have it. And I was, is it ultra filter or like soft? You mean? Let me see. Let me see. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. Okay, there we go. I think that's good, right? Let me check the audio here real quick. Yes, yeah, I can hear it. Okay. Is your mic working properly? Sounds different. I don't know. Let me see. You guys are got me worried here. Is your mic working properly? Sounds different. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But we're not gonna play with it today. We'll just let it roll. But anyways, what I'm telling you guys is, hey Tyler, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Little echo. Yeah, you're gonna hear the echo when I'm checking the sound on my phone because the microphone's gonna catch it. That's all. I don't see an echo when I heard it on the phone myself, so should be good. Uh, Speaking room audio, you guys are killing me, man. Unless my wife touched something on here, guys. I don't know. I don't know. But all right, let's just go with it. Well, it is connected. It is connected. Otherwise, you will not be hearing me at all. But anyway, so I'm flying. I'm in the air, And I find that even though I know the technology that we have and everything, all the advancements that we have today, it is still mind blowing to me that I was up about 35,000 feet up in the air. And well, this is what I'm showing my wife as I'm flying.
Window up, yeah. The window is talaga ako. So nice. Thank you. Thank you. Can you grab that window shade, sir? Sir. Sir, with the AirPods in your ear.
I don't know if she was talking to me, but look at that. Isn't that cool? That's Mount Rainier right there. Yeah, I kind of messed up the zoom there a little bit, but that is crazy, no? That is crazy. It is crazy that you can be up in the air nowadays and you can actually be live. I think it's like, obviously limited, but you don't want to be a disturbance if there is anything, with the instruments or whatnot. I would have thought they would say something to me if I wasn't allowed to do it. So, with that being said, I thought it was pretty cool that I was able to do it. Yeah, and also well, let me see what. Hold on, how's that? Is that better? And also, I how's that? Is that better? I don't know. It sounds the same to me. I don't know. We'll just leave it the way that I had it at first, and I'll play with the sound later. Yeah, I'll play with the sound later. I think it's this one that brings him down a little bit. I'm not sure, or maybe who knows? Like I said, this mic is only $250. Who knows? How long it's going to be giving me any type of good audio. But anywho, this is one of the things that I find fascinating, and my wife was like, yeah, thanks to me, you actually have that technology in that plane, and the reason for that is because the company that I used to work with her, the company that we used to work for, they all make this sort of outlets and circuit boards and things for the TV and all the kind of electronics that the planes have. They make it at the company where I was working at. Okay, that's crazy. I can see the audio way up there. That's crazy. One, two, one, two. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's filtering. Something is going on with the mic. You're right. I'm not sure what happened. Well, I'll play with. Sorry about that. If the audio sucks, then it sucks. No, they didn't fire me. So one of the reasons why I left, and I made a little short about it. One of the things, they actually the owners they want me back, so that's not a problem. And the reason why I'm still doing this, honestly, is because my wife keeps pushing me to do it. She really believes that we're doing something good, telling the truth and sharing the information because we see it as many Americans on the conservative side see it. A lot of people, that don't have God or lawless, godless people, I would say, they like to go out there and tell a bunch of lies. And if only people that tell lies come on, podcasts and things like this, we're going to be doomed, and our children are the ones that are going to have, they're going to be inheriting those problems. So a lot of the people that join my channel, people have subscribed. Not everybody can make it, obviously. We're at 20,000 subscribers, and and we have 30 people on. So I know the algorithm gives like maybe, I don't know, 10% of the people, if that, Obviously, if we're doing really bad, then people don't want to get on. Depending on the time, sometimes around noon, about an hour or two from now, is when people start coming in. But yeah, it is what it is. I will say this though, when I was pastoring, I pastored for 5 years. And of course, I watch my tongue and the way that I address people, etc. I think it goes with the position. But you got to have a certain type of attitude, and you got to follow some rules if you want to be in certain positions. So I understand that part of every job, if you can call that pastoring a job. And I had this role. I was doing it for 5 years, and I thought, if if I'm not taking care of my family, am I really being a good man for God? And I gave myself a time, and I said, okay, I'm going to go to this place for 1 year, and then when it's time for me to go, God is going to give me a sign. And well, a pastor came over, and I asked him about it, and he says, well, I came today to visit because I feel God told me to come and talk to you. And I was like, yeah, well, it's true. I was like, I wanted to talk to somebody. And he told me, he says, well, you take a sabbatical. I don't know how to say it in English. I always said in Spanish, a Sabbath break, so to speak, from being pastor in the church. And so that was my sign that I was finished. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to give this some time. If the funds are there, we will continue doing the show. If the funds are not there, then unfortunately we have to stop. Like everything else, we have to stop. Um, I don't feel I don't feel that the way that we're doing things right now is to my liking. My wife is totally 100% that I do this, and to continue to do it. They're a sabbatical. Thank you so much, Jason. Yeah, it's sabbatical. And I listen to my wife a lot, believe it or not. I am the man of the house, though, and she knows this, and it never fails. Every time I tell her something, she always comes back, and she always says, I wonder. Hold on, guys. You know what? I wonder. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec. I wonder if it's catching the audio from my earphones, not from the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. How's that, guys? How is the sound now? Sound bitch. Yeah, I think it was catching the audio from my earpiece. Let me see.
From the mic.
Yeah, I think so, right? Oh yeah, I can see. I can hear a difference. You guys can hear a difference? Okay, so it was catching the microphone from my earpiece. I think. I think that's what it was. All right, fantastic. I don't have to feel like a jackass now. I feel more comfortable. Yeah, I keep seeing the peak, but I don't have it to where it should be peaking too much. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, guys. Oh man, you guys are on it. Damn, I appreciate it. This sound guy, okay, he was this close from getting fired. This close. Anywho, you know what? I always say that I'm not going to say this to everybody. I'm just going to do this too with my members. But it's true. I mean, the show can only go as long as the show can go, right? So, I'm going to start this week. Hopefully, you guys start seeing some more videos out there. I have been focusing on so many things all at once that I have been neglecting this channel, so to speak, because I have to learn all this stuff, and then of course I have to stay, connected with what's going on. Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and should have left that sound guy in Hawaii. Yeah, well, I should have left myself over there in Hawaii. I'll tell you that right now. Oh man. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Hawaii before we get into the nitty gritty. Here is the truth. It has to be said. The truth that nobody wants to say. I'm sure you guys know that this is normal. So, so first of all, let me go ahead and confess. I thought for some reason I thought Honolulu, Hawaii was the big island. It's not. It's one of the small islands. I feel so bamboozled. I was like, why? Wait a minute. Now, every fiber of logic, right, in my head tells me that Honolulu, Hawaii, is the big island. Why? Because that's what the big airport is. Because this is where the most touristic places are. And I mean, it's a big deal. Honolulu, blah, blah, blah. It's like a capital of Hawaii. And then I was looking on the map and I was like, wait a minute, where the hell am I? Wait, I'm not in the big island? Are you kidding me? All this time I thought Honolulu was the big. Oh my goodness. I don't know why. I don't know why. But the logic, that's what the logic was, that all the touristic areas are in Waikiki, and, the whole thing of the international airport being, in the smaller island is ridiculous, But then again, I don't know, what the politics are with the big island, and so so Jason, the reason why I say that is because, you know, you hear all these, conversations and some deals and historical things that have happened in Hawaii, and I thought that, that Honolulu being the big island, which is not obviously, but being the big island, that they will be able to afford to allocate some land for the natives, and then have, Honolulu, right? And instead, it's the opposite. The Honolulu, Hawaii is in a smaller island, which, by the way, again, this is all true. It's not that I'm, being hypocritical, biased, or contradicting myself. This is all true. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It is tremendous. It's amazing. It's stunning. I mean, there's no words. And of course, a place like Hawaii being taken care of with great leadership, it will stay phenomenal for a very, very, very long time. Unfortunately, for some reason, it just happens to be democratic. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why it is. I mean, we know why. We know why, but I'm not sure why Democrats destroy the beautiful things that we have. For example, these homeless people that are out there in the park, they're not homeless because, uh, because they don't have a job. They're not homeless because, their older land was taken away. They're homeless because they chose to do drugs. They're homeless because they chose to be homeless. And I'm watching all this beautiful thing, and I can see that. I try to tell you guys, right, on my live, and I try to tell you when I was doing my lives there is something about the Hawaii that it gives me like mixed feelings about how I feel. I don't know how to feel about it, because it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I didn't want to come back. I want to live there. I really do. It's just beautiful. And then, as you talk with people, all the homeless that I talk to there, man, they're all tweakers. They all do drugs. Some people were looking at me weird, like they wanted to do something with my little suitcase. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around there like I'm a homeless in Hawaii. That's why my title of my life was that, Homeless in Hawaii. Because I'm walking around there with my little carry-on luggage and my backpack. Uh, and it's just, it felt so good to be there. And then I realized that the reason why, hey, Sonny, how are you? Tanya, good morning, welcome, or good afternoon if you're on the other side. One of the things that I learned was this. There was a, did I save it? Hold on. Let me see if I saved it. If I saved it, I will be able to show you a video. Let's see. Give me a second. All right, let's see if I can share this. Okay, I'm going to share this to my email. Actually, I'm going to put it on my X account. It'd just be easy to just post there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So I sent it to my X account, and I'm going to show you something. I think that I put it down at 2 minutes. Don't worry. We will get into the nitty gritty here pretty soon. But I do want to touch up on this because you have to understand Hawaii. It's beautiful. It's tremendous. It's amazing. It's everything I say. I really, myself, I just really can't describe how I feel about Hawaii. But let me tell you something. Let me go ahead and click on this here.
You're not going to be.
Hold on. And right about here, there is an interview that he does. This is Tyler Oliveira. He's an influencer, I guess. I want to show you this just a couple of minutes, maybe less than that. Okay, I want to show you something, and this answer me what I was the confusing feeling that I was having. Okay, this is what that actually cleared it out for me, and I just didn't really want to accept the reality of it, but that's exactly what it is. All right, check this out.
Is there sort of contention?
We were welcomed. We were loved.
Can you explain the white people concept? Like the Haole? White people?
Because Hawaii needs visitors. Hawaii needs people.
So some of the ones so-called natives, right? They're just homeless people. They don't like white people there. But I want you to listen to this lady that's coming in here in a few seconds.
To love the island like we do.
Where did you live on the mainland?
Lived in Michigan. Yeah.
So you came out here and the plan was to figure it out kind of when you got here?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we get swept everywhere. I just got swept again last Thursday. Took everything I owned. Everything.
Do you have any current plans of getting off the streets? And look, cop right there.
Yep. Yeah.
How long have you been out here, Sid?
20 years.
20 years.
When I had to quit my job, I gained my freedom. It was no more having to by anybody's rules.
You hear that? I quit my job and I gain my freedom. Let me rewind that.
Streets and look, cop right there.
Yep. Yeah.
How long have you been out here, Sid?
20 years.
20 years.
When I had to quit my job, I gained my freedom. It was no more having to by anybody's rules. I can be out here, I can be free.
Yeah.
I've been camping ever since I was a kid. So for me, this is nothing but camping.
You might be surprised to know.
There you go. And that is the reality of things. That, my friends, is what my soul and was having a some sort of battle, within, and that is the answer right there. So it's so beautiful. The weather is so accommodating. You can have a blanket and you're good. You can be out in on these well manicured parks, and you can lay there all day. You can sleep all day. You can be awake all night, but you can sleep all day. And so the thing that I was so confused about was that. See, the flesh wants to do something, but the spirit knows better, right? So the flesh is saying, man, I love all this stuff, and I can like literally lose myself into, I'm just gonna fish. I'm just gonna, just be free. And what happens when you lose all of your money? When you really have zero money, that's when reality hits. But what did she just say that was important to understand about Hawaii? You got all these homeless without jobs. That is by choice. We see that here. We see that everywhere in the United States. They don't want to do work. They don't want to abide by any rules. They just want to be camping every day. This is why they move to Hawaii. GPT, what the hell are you talking about, bro? You don't know shit about me. Anywho, that is the crazy thing that happens when people get comfortable in their lifestyle. When they try to say that when they lose their ambitions, when they lose their ability to dream, when people give in to this loser mentality, it's not a winner mentality. You have to understand that our times are changing. We have to keep evolving with all the changes around us. You can't be a wild, savage out in the forest. You can't do that. We got to change. All of our countries have changed. All of our civilizations have updated to the next civilization. We have gone from our very native civilization to start building town civilization to now we have underdeveloped civilizations, then we have developed civilizations. We got different technology. On developed countries, you have technology so advanced that even their own people don't know what they have. And that is the truth. So that is the main reason why Hawaii has all these homeless people. It is what it is. Listen, I never wanted to say I'm a Democrat or a Republican or whatever. But the bottom line is, Democrats is just not the way to go anymore. Are Republicans making mistakes? Sure. But Democrats are just not the way to go. If you don't know by now, you are a fool. Let me say this again. The Republicans, the Trump administration, what is the biggest problem that people have with Trump? Well, Trump. That's the problem. Last week, before I went to Hawaii, I showed you guys a video of a guy that was blaming and threatening the lives of all of us. MAGA people, they say. All the MAGA people. And Trump supporter and administration, etc. People, we're living in a time where rebelliousness, disrespectfulness, where violence is taking over our country. Hey, Olifron, you better be careful how you talk to my sister. Don't talk shit about America. If you're French, shut your mouth. Vous êtes la merde. France, you guys are destroyed over there anyways. You guys are lost. We're still fighting for our country. Hi, Chair Bear. How are you? Good to see you on here. Yeah, why don't you go back to your country, Ollie? Go back to your country. We don't need your shit mentality over here. Again, this is where we come together to see the truth so that we can fight it. So that we can fight those who are trying to destroy our country. These rioters, it's unbelievable. And it's been happening for many years now. I can't believe, I mean, that there is no other way to describe it, because we know that Biden, the people that were behind Biden's campaign, they cheated big time. Huge. I don't care what any socialist Democrat says. They cheated big time. There is no freaking way that a zombie that didn't even campaign won the popular vote. There is no freaking way that America is that stupid. So there is that. So Trump had to come in and campaign the second time, saying, make it too big to rig. And that's exactly what we did. And even Democrats, real Democrats, came out and showed up and voted. So they couldn't cheat. That doesn't mean that they didn't cheat during the Biden's administration. Everybody who keeps voting for Democrats today, not before, today, you guys are so willing to destroy our country. There was a guy that used to come into my channel, and now I lost all respect for him because one time he told me that he wanted Western civilization destroyed, and he wanted Muslims to take over. Now, he said he was a Christian. We're talking about Pizza Guy. You know, he used to throw super chats all the time on my channel. He always disagreed with us, but he used to throw super chats on my channel. But I told him to fuck off. Because, you know, how can you hate the country where that's giving you the best opportunities to make something of yourself? How can you be so ungrateful to spit on the country that's giving you success? How can you be a traitor and turn your backs on what has made this nation a great nation, which is capitalism? Every nation that was founded and was governed with social or communist, Marxist ideologies are failures of countries. They are all failures. This country is one of the youngest countries in the world, and because of capitalism, has become one of the greatest countries in the world. It's common sense for me. Common sense to me. We have every single socialist Democrat. I know why. I just don't understand why many other people follow these idiots. I know that there's a lot of godless people and a lot of lawless people out there. I know this. I know. But it still blows my mind that in America, after seeing everything that we have seen throughout history, we still have stupid people in this country that don't appreciate what they have. Our schooling systems have been infiltrated by Marxist communists. All the black people that are in power right now, they brag about being Marxist. Really? We're supposed to be a country governed under God. How do we have godless people in government? Remember, they used to fake it. God bless the USA, even though they didn't mean it. But they used to fake it. Now they say, fuck America. You know what's really funny to me? It's how these libtards, they go around and they say, oh my God, how can you support a pedophile, which they have no proof of? Oh, well, how can you support somebody that says grab him by the punani? You know, women like to be grabbed by the punani. And I'm just like, okay, all right. Okay, which party do you support? What policies you support? Oh, you're a Democrat. You're a socialist Democrat. Oh. And do you support Muslims? Yeah, Okay, well then shut the hell up. You support Democrats. You support the LGBTQ. You guys have no problem with that. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Because I got a video for you. This is Ari Hoffman sharing. Welcome. I don't know what it says on there, but on the sign on the door. But it's Pride, LGBTQ stuff. Over the weekend, the Whatcom Youth Pride Coalition held the 2026 Youth Pride Parade and Festival, featuring a drag show at the Bellingham High School. This is what Socialist Democrats stand for. This is what I mean by godless people. If you're not a Republican or conservative, or listen, let me say this. If you're a conservative, you should not be a Democrat right now. If you are a Christian, you should not be voting for Democrats at all. Every single Christian vote, real Christians, because there's a lot of fake Christians out there. I just heard that there is a female closest to the Pope. I don't know. This must have been this. There has to be fake. There has to be fake. But check it out. I'll play this for you so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is what the Socialist Party is all about. This is what they're all about. I want you to pay attention, and I want you to tell me if this is the party that you are voting for, because if you're not voting again, if you're not voting for Republicans right now, there's only two choices. You can say that you want to go, and be neutral, independent. There's not such things. You're either Republican or a Democrat. There's no choice. Third party is just not going to work. Not going to work. Watch this. This is unbelievable. Again, I'm going to make sure that I emphasize. If you don't vote for Republicans and you have been voting for Democrats, this is what you voted for. And I'm telling you right now, as a Christian man, this pisses me off because the innocence of every single one of these children have been taken away by the corrupted socialist Democrats that we have. Check this out. Unbelievable. I want to point something out to you. The need for approval on the children. You got to take care of the children, man. You got to take care of your children. Forget about the trolls that come in here and cuss at you and me. And forget about the trolls that want to say we want Israel out. These same trolls are the ones that keep supporting terrorist groups like Hamas. Free Palestine, destroy Israel. Really? This is what they give our kids in school. This happened here in Washington. Bellingham is in Washington State. That should bother you. Yeah, and it's typical. All the different color hairs. A lot of weak-ass young men who can't handle being bullied. As a black pastor said before, the Socialist Democrat Party are making pussies out of men. That is unbelievable. Unacceptable. If you don't vote for Republicans, this is what you're voting for. And if you vote for this, well, then you have no room to bitch and complain about life. Because you are asking for this in life. Look at these demons talking to these children. Look at these demons destroying your children's innocence. Look at the children reaching out. Those are demons taking your children's innocence away. That should piss you off. Every single socialist Democrat, I just don't understand. How did we get here? How did we allow these clowns? Remember how they come into our show, right? They come into our show and they tell us that we're clowns. Who are the ones wearing little frog outfits out there? Who's furries? Who are the real clowns? Dressing like a bunch of retards out there in public. Who are they? Yeah. Oh, here, Ryan. Oh, my gosh. It's like as if you're not paying attention, bro. MAGA is a cult of incredibly stupid people. No, don't delete those comments, Robert. Let him be today. I want to read them, and I'm gonna put these libtards out to dry today. Just don't block messages. I want you to read their messages so you can see how retarded they are. They speak no common sense. They speak godless and lawless. They spew hate, and they tell us that when we tell them to behave, they're saying that we're hateful. No, you motherfucker. You got to be disciplined. You have to respect others. You think me talking harsh to you is disrespect? No, it's not disrespect. But somebody, doggone it, has to do it. It might as well just be me. I am not the Christian you want me to be. It's unbelievable that this is what we have in schools. And they keep telling you, it's a lie. It's a cult. It's a MAGA cult. It's a lie. It's not happening. It's not happening. Well, the fucking video's still there, isn't it? And you can't hide it. You got to watch the video. You can't hide it and tell me that it's not happening. The goddamn, evidence is right there. The proof is right there. You can't tell me it's not happening. It should piss you off. Why can't we get along? Because they're godless. They're demons. They want hate. They want violence. And very unfortunately, the only way that you can stop that is by giving them some ass kicking. We try it with love. We try it with words and kindness. When they don't listen, then we got to kick some ass. How do we kick some ass? By voting Republican. Stop voting Democrats. And stop saying you're not going to vote because, they're both bad. If you want godless and lawless, That's why you're voting for Democrats. It doesn't matter. You got to vote for Republicans. Again, they make mistakes. They're not going to please everybody. You need to give them some slack, man. You guys worry about Trump putting his name on a museum, putting his name on a ship, on a plane, or on a $250 bill. The guy got another decade or so, maybe less, to live. Put him in a $250 bill. Why not? Put him on there. Matter of fact, put him on there while he's now. He's alive now. All of you socialist, communist, Marxist countries have their living president's face on their money. Why not have it here? I say to all of the socialist Democrats, shut the hell up and let them put Trump's face on a $250 bill and say, "In God we trust." So anyway, aloha, Kitty. Yeah, don't vote for Democrats anymore. Let me go ahead and switch gears a little bit and go back to Hawaii. One of the things that I learned about Hawaii, and I said this, I wish I can live in Hawaii. I mean, Honolulu, Hawaii was beautiful. The island is fantastic. It freaking rains and sunshines at the same time every single day, it seemed like. I was only there for 4 days. But that's what I saw every single day. Oh, my gosh. It's sunny. I'm going to have some fun. All of a sudden, rain. And then you don't care because the rain, it's not bad. And then you just dry off with the sun when it comes back out. Hey, Don, how are you, big bro? I see you here, man. I think it's time to go get some tacos, my friend. But this time I pay. This time I'll pay. We definitely got to get some tacos, man. We got to get some tacos. But we got to go get tacos at some taco truck. There is a taco truck. Well, there's taco trucks everywhere, but there's one of exit 99 in Marysville. You already know where it's at. This is over there by the bingo, by the Kilsita, just about a block down from Kilsita. There is a little entrance there at the light, and there is a taco truck. I believe it's still there. So, Don, we got to go meet over there, brother. Maybe we can do it this weekend. Let me know. All right, with that being said, so back to Hawaii. I wish I can live in Hawaii, and I can say this. Rich people, they are the only ones who can afford to live in Hawaii. No, Chris, it's not Taco Tuesday. It's just Don Mitch is one of my patriot brothers over here in Washington State, and we shared a good lunch before, but he paid, so I gotta go buy him some tacos next. But anyways, what is the problem? You know what? It is the same problem that we have here in Washington State. You know what's sad? Let me tell you what's sad. How many in here on this chat, if you're from Hawaii, especially if you've been there, if you're from there, or if you are there right now, how many of you know Hawaii is very expensive? Matter of fact, I'm going to put a little, let me do a poll. There we go. Let's start that. Let's start a poll right there. Hey, Teddy, what's going on, bud? Don't love you. Happy Monday. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that support. So if you haven't seen the poll, do the poll. Is Hawaii expensive to live in? I should have said too expensive. Couple of people they think Hawaii is not expensive. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere with this. So as I was down there, I was, I read a sign that said something like, gas is now more expensive than beer. Don't drive. Come on in. Oh, man. You know what? I really wish that the whole import thing was due because they have to import things. But that's not the truth. Okay, so everybody knows, right? So we had like 19 people. We don't have that many people today in this live. But most people know that Hawaii is very expensive to live in. Now here's the thing, okay? Now watch this. One of the things that I told you about when I run for governor, if I run for governor, there might be a better person that's going to run. I hope he does. Otherwise, I will run for governor. The natives in Hawaii, there is some sort of benefits that they get, but not enough. They have so much regulations. They have so much taxes. Like, I kid you not, I was listening to the news and they have raised the tax that these hotels pay, right? It was like anywhere from, I don't want to exaggerate, but there was for property tax or whatever, it was it was somewhere like around $50,000 to $70,000, okay? Well, now they have to pay over $400,000. Guys, that's a big ass jump. That's almost that's a little bit over $300,000 increase. And this is taxes that the socialist Democrats put on the people. Now, yeah, if a person is rich, thank you guys for the little coins and all that stuff in there. I appreciate it. Listen, I get it. People think that the answer is tax the rich, but it's not. You're effing up all the locals. All of the locals. I think that I think somebody said that Hawaiians don't pay tax, I think, when they go shopping. I don't know if that's true. But that's something that I will say. If you live there, right, not in a business, not as a business, but if you live there and you are under a certain sort of income, right, if you're under $100,000 income, you shouldn't pay taxes in Hawaii. I just don't think that you should. Everybody else making more, sure, go ahead and pay taxes on that. But you know what? There's businesses out there that they're very local and they're not making that much money as other multi-million-dollar companies. And it's just so difficult to call it. But what I can tell you is this. Whatever was the reason why this has happened, it's got to stop and it has to be reversed somewhat. There's got to be a good regulation, not a bad regulation like they have. I think it's too expensive because of overtaxing. This is what Democrat socialists are very famous for. They are famous by ruling as tyrants. They're famous because they rule like tyrants. We got our independence because they were trying to tax the shit out of us. Back then it wasn't that much. And they were abusing our rights, right? So we stood up, we fought them, and we got rid of the redcoats. But now for some reason, this Democratic Party, they just want to rule the people by taxing the shit out of them. I just don't understand. I don't understand. What I really don't understand is why people keep voting for these losers in there. So, I was talking to the receptionist at the hotel. She was so lovely, by the way. And I was talking to her, and I said, what's crazy? Let me ask you this before I tell you what I'm going to tell you. I said, is it really expensive to live here in Hawaii? And she says, oh, yes. I said, do you think it's one of the most expensive states, and why? And she's like, yeah, because of tourism. You know, I said, that's very interesting. I'm from Seattle, Washington. Did you know that Washington State is just as expensive as Hawaii, and we are not a touristic area? Downtown Seattle, by name, fame, a TV or something. That's it. There's nothing really, really touristic. Not in comparison in comparison to Hawaii. None. When I go to Hawaii, I don't want to come back. I'm just like, shit, this is paradise. It really is. It's paradise. And I said, and I am paying the same thing that I pay in Washington State for a Hawaiian barbecue meal. I'm paying the exact same thing at McDonald's as Hawaii, here in Washington State. Taxes, regulations, I am telling you, that is the most common factor. Is the formula. It is the same formula that they use to govern. They think that taxing more and more brings more wealth. Yeah, to them. Here's a little, just between you and me. Socialist Democrats, they use the homeless to make money. I'm sure you already knew that. I am sure you knew that already. How many of you in the chat? Just go on, let me know. I don't care if you approve of me being a cowboy, sucker. You know what? You know who brought this here to the Americas? The Spaniards, Europeans, sucker. They're the ones that brought the horses. In Honduras, my family for generations has worn this sort of outfits without the American flag, of course. We have a different type of shirts that we have, but the hats are the same. Hey, Mr. Reed, how are you, sir? That's right, highest commander rank in the military. I love it. MacDean, I'm gonna tell you what. I made an oath to defend this country from foreign and domestic. If there was a draft, as much pain as I have, I will definitely join. It will be an honor. It will be a privilege. But I am also defending from domestic terrorists and pests like you. And I would just love to get rid of it. So don't test us, Americans, because we will clean up town. Anywho, that is the problem that we have. Hawaii, I can see it. Touristic, expensive, got it. A lot of importing, got it. A lot of importing, got it. But Washington State, Oregon, California, the only areas that should be expensive in California is probably just the coastal land. That's a given because is the ocean view, $1 million view. I get it. Sean, oh man, I tell you what, man, I really hope that President Trump just gets it done, bro. You know, I know, and I believe that. I believe what he said. As a matter of fact, you know what I haven't done? I haven't checked the price of oil today. What's Brent looking like today? Let's take a look. Brent crude oil price. $86. You know what? I haven't seen my gas go down. Why is that? Right? My gas at the gas station is the same price as the gas was at $110. At $86, gas prices are still high. Now, I will say this, and I know that the Gavin Newsom, right? He's a cheat, he's a liar, he's a scammer, he's a fraud. I get it. But he is not wrong when he says that there is gas stations that are price gouging. I believe Gavin when he says that. But he doesn't say the other half of that truth. That there's also over $1.50 a gallon on regulations and taxes that is put forth by California and Washington State. They don't say that. They like to blame everybody else, but they never take accountability for their action. The incompetence of socialist Democrats, it's so easy to watch and see, and I just can't believe that people don't see it. I just can't believe it. It was just like I can't believe that they want it so bad. They really want it. They really want it. Let's see. Who is Bust a Move says $4.19 per gallon for the cheapest. Yeah, I will take $4.19 right now over $5.49. Okay. I did almost pay $6. And here's the crazy thing. You guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? Listen. In Waikiki, Hawaii, $5.49 a gallon. That is exactly what I pay here in Washington State. Now, tell me how and why. What is it? Again, that's right, Don. Again, Hawaii touristic. A long ways to import that oil. We got WTI. We got oil from Texas. Why is it still so expensive? Now, again, I want Trump to take care of this issue. I mentioned this last week on my live before I went to Hawaii. There is no way that we're going to be able to have an agreement with the Iranian regime because we are fighting a diplomatic war. They are fighting what we call a holy war. It is a war of religion. It's a war of faiths. That's right, Mr. Mikey. Much love to you, man. You're a lifesaver. You were my angel in Hawaii. I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. I need to know. Okay, so I'm going to have to ask you, do you have a big head? I got a big head. Do you have a big head? You can say it on the chat. You can text me or you can email me, however you want to tell me. Okay, I have to say it because otherwise I'll probably get the size wrong. I want to send you one of these as a thank you, Mr. Mikey, for your help while I was down in Hawaii. My wife was reminding me today, as a matter of fact, this morning, and I said, "Yeah, baby." I said, "We'll do that," but I said I didn't want to tell him, but said I don't want to get the wrong size, so I need to know what size hat so that I can get you one. That's just a little side thank you, and I will give it back with the product that you gave me in Hawaii. All right. Wow. Family still gets paid by government to not pump oil. You know what's stupid about these Democrats is that these states, I'm telling you, these states are so filthy rich, right? You can do so many things with them. Like, for example, listen, I don't think that the Democrats were completely wrong about the electrical cars. I just think they were wrong about making a mandate, forcing everybody to do this. Just think about this: how how much smoother it would go to just say, "Hey, listen, if you want to have electrical, fantastic. Let's work on the electrical grid. Let's create more power. Let's get a small nuclear plant so that we can have more power to be able to handle all the power consumption on the grid. And then whoever wants to buy the other cars, then okay, whatever. Here it is. I think that, trying to, to help the uh, our planet, right? I think that that is a good thing. But I also think that we're not making a difference. We will not ever make a difference. It's just, I mean, at least not enough to stop climate change. Climate change will not be stopped. It is what it is. It's just not going to change. Climate change is not just by cows farting. Okay, climate change. Hey, Dennis, how are you, brother? Climate change is not just about your methane coming out of your butt. That's not going to do it. I will say where I draw the line. Okay, garbage. Garbage should be contained. We should have facilities to get garbage under control. We have all these third world countries and places where, like in the Philippines, for example, in Honduras, for example, in other countries where the houses are built on top of the water. There is no clean water. There is no potable water. I don't know what's called in English. But there is no drainage. There is no garbage compactors. There is no place to do. Only the ocean. And they're polluting the ocean. And out of dirtiness, you get diseases. Viruses come out, bacteria evolves into something that our body's not used to, and then we pay the price. So I think that Hawaii, just like any other state, it can be an expensive place, but it can be a lot better for the people that actually are permanent local residents there. Okay, so you good? Okay. So I want to make sure that you know this, that in Hawaii is expensive because of importing. It's an island. There's, thousands of miles before we can get some products out there. I get that. But the regulation, the taxing, the tariffs, yes, that's right. They do have tariffs on products that are imported there. And it's not just because Trump puts them there, but they have their own fees that they charge for this and that. And they have their own. Check this out. And this is not just happening there, but it's happening more here in Washington, Oregon, and California. Okay? I just heard a scoop that some Democrats, spouses, persons of interest, or whatever you want to call them, they have been benefiting by the homeless issues. This is why they don't want to get rid of them. They buy properties and they flip them for homelessness. And we just got to find out, where does the money go? Who are the NGOs? Well, the Newsom and the Pelosi family are going to be in big trouble. And Basura, Bass, yeah, I heard what Pratt said about her lately. So I'm telling you, man, it is a business. It is a party. The Democrats is this party of scams and fraud. The Republican Party, do they make mistakes? Yes, sure. Of course they are. Of course they do. Do they say things that maybe they shouldn't? Yeah, of course. They're not perfect. But for the Socialist Democrats to be complaining about language when they talk It's so toxic. It's crazy the way they talk. When they say they're out there protesting, their violence that they bring to this protest, that's not a protest. It's not a protest. Never have I seen in my entire life such preference for illegal immigrants over citizens of a country. Never seen it. Never seen it. It's unbelievable. All right, 53 votes. 53 votes. All right. Enough Hawaii. Hawaii is gorgeous, beautiful, fantastic, phenomenal. Also expensive, and there's also ghetto parts in Hawaii, and there's a lot of drug addicts on the street. So, there is that. It is the same everywhere you go. I lived in the Democrat states and cities so many times that that's all I see the problems on. I didn't see anything that the Pope said to the Chicago mayor, the mayor, but I wish I would have heard something like, hey, how about, I don't know, how about you start managing the money of the people better? The Pope is such an antichrist. What a hypocrite. But anywho, let me see, we're going to start off with CNN. I know you guys love CNN. And this is Iran claims to strike the U.S. base. And Trump is now changing the proposal deal, they say. So let's take a listen to what CNN has to do and what they are reporting. It's so hard to call it reporting from these guys. But you know what? Let's go. Let's give them a chance. Let's take a listen to see what they say.
And the U.S. military now says overnight it intercepted 2 Iranian ballistic missiles targeting American forces in Kuwait, adding, though, that no American personnel were harmed in this. This comes as the U.S. says that it hit Iranian military sites overnight in defensive attacks.
We are seeing new footage of missile launches broadcast from Iran today. CNN cannot confirm where or when this video was shot, but it was shown on Iranian state media as both the US and Iran reported new exchanges of fire over the weekend. And as US President Donald Trump requests changes to the proposed Memorandum of Understanding with Tehran, which is meant to build on the existing, somewhat shaky ceasefire. Let's get a read on where things stand this hour. Our international diplomatic editor, Nick Robertson, is with us for that. Nick, a very basic question at this point. How long can this go on for?
Yeah, it's hard to know because it did seem, and everyone knows this, that last weekend it seemed to be close, that the Pakistani mediators had spent days in Tehran. They'd got everyone to a position, a sort of a memorandum of understanding where the language was more or less locked in, and it was thought to be hours, maybe a couple of days away. But now we do seem to be in this protracted situation where the president foreshadows a key meeting, and then what comes out of it are more word and language changes, it appears, for the Iranians. The Iranians maintain their position of a complete lack of trust in the US negotiations. And both sides are on a hair trigger, it seems, for a possible escalation of military attacks. Those ballistic missiles that were fired at Kuwait, that CENTCOM said they successfully intercepted a couple of ballistic missiles in the early part of the morning, are really, I think a slightly increased uptick over what we saw Iran's response when the US had defensive measures against some of its military installations in the Strait of Hormuz, close to the Strait of Hormuz last week. So there's this sort of incrementalism, and there is a possibility here. So to answer how long can he keep going, the sources I'm talking to at the moment.
That right there, that's what I want to see get hit. That tunnel. Those tunnels right there, those are the tunnels that I think need to be destroyed. Now, let's be clear. Yeah, you're right, Jason. we knew that they were not gonna cease the fire. Listen, one of the things, these guys, they're hagglers. I think that's the word, right? They're hagglers. They lie, they cheat. This is what they do for a living. So President Trump is trying to do everything to civilizedly come to a diplomatic solution. We all know we don't want war. We want peace. But as the great Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, said, if you want peace, you better be ready for war. Wise words. I agree. I agree. But anyway, I want to see this sort of facilities destroyed. That's what they got to do. It's and I know, but listen, Congress, Democrats, they brag so much about the midterms, but I'm telling you that I don't make a splash in the ocean, okay? But I'm telling you, nobody should be voting for Democrats in the midterms. There is no way that this country is going to be the majority Christians. And there is no way, which obviously we know that is not a real religion, but there is no way the Muslims want this non-binary, this gay communities to flourish under Muslim communities. That's ridiculous. That goes against their Sharia law. It goes against the laws and the rules of the Quran. So that's kind of crazy. But nonetheless, you guys, if you are a Republican by loyalty, fantastic. If you're an independent, fantastic. If you're a Democrat, I don't care. It's fantastic. You need to make your voices heard. Do not let illegal immigrants take your rights away, take your benefits away. How long have you been waiting for the American people to be benefited by your tax dollars? I know I have been. Of course, I want every single American taken care of, but I'm also for Americans working, making a living. Listen, there's some young people, man, that they're making a lot of money just playing games and going live. Some of them are journalists. Amanda, let me tell you something. See, that's the problem with Americans and some migrants that have come to this country. And damn shame if you came here illegally. Damn shame if you are an American and don't respect what I say. Because what I say is for the benefit of the American people. You can't say shit about me because I'm a migrant. You can't say shit about me because I'm a minority. You can't say shit about me because I've always been legal. You can't throw the race card. You can't throw the prejudice card. Shut the hell up. You can't do none of those things. I am the example of what a migrant is supposed to do. First of all, you got to have ethics. You got to have morals. Ah, man, I love it when they bring that question up. I was in Hawaii, and, man, I left my license at the airport, and the only way that I can identify myself was by showing my white privilege card. Bam! Just American citizen. You can't get this if you're not an American citizen. Oh, boy. I love it when they bring that shit up, don't you? To ICE. I think it's time, guys. I think it's time. Where is my little sign? I think it's time. I love it when people make me support my crew. Here we go. Bam! Anywho, I am what every migrant should be. First of all, if you don't love this country, don't become a citizen. Don't become a resident. If you live here long enough and you think that this country is worth fighting for, is worth living in, if you believe that this is an amazing country, it's the greatest country on earth, if you believe all of that you should become an American citizen. And as I do, so should you. Respect ICE. They are our federal agents that are out there getting rid of illegal immigrants. Why is it important to get rid of illegal immigrants? Brian, what's up? Let me tell you why it's important to get rid of illegal immigrants. Unfortunately, I don't think it would be as bad, but unfortunately, we had a massive illegal immigration problem during the last administration. Now, whether you like it or not, somebody has to clean it up. I respect the Trump administration because they're giving people they're giving people a chance to self-deport. And by doing so, they're actually going to be able to come back the right way. And not just that, but if they self-deport, they can go back to their country and they can apply for a green card. Now, you have to understand, it takes time. Now, here is the problem. If we have too many illegal immigrants in this country, those who have followed the law, those who are getting ready to receive paper approval, they get put in the back of the line. And they get pushed farther and farther and farther because of this massive illegal immigration. So it causes a problem. Not just for the country where the mass illegal immigration happened, but it causes a problem for those migrants who have been waiting patiently 5, 10, 15 years to get a green card. You know what I'm saying? It causes problems. And I've said it over and over. And so what's the problem now? Well, now those people that have been married, those people that qualify to apply for a green card, they can't do it from the country no more. They gotta leave the country and apply for the green card. And once it's approved and your passport gets stamped, then you can go ahead and go to the embassy at that country where you're from, and they will give you the green card permanent resident seal on your passport. Then you can come back to this country. So now immigration laws are being more strict because of the abused. That's how it works. It is an abuse to the system, and that's why it needs to be changed. That makes sense to you? Now, with that being said, I was brought here at 13 years old by my mother. Of course, I became a resident right away. But here's the thing. It took me 2.5 decades. I renewed my green card twice. It took me 2.5 decades to decide to become an American citizen. So I asked myself some questions, and it's the same things that I give you. Do you love this country? Yes. Would you fight for this country? Yes. Do you want this country for your children? Yes. Do you want to be one of the people? Yes. I think it's time. I went online. Now, there are some services out there that charge you $8,000 and they'll do the paperwork for you. I went online to the government page and I filled out all the forms, filled out all my information, went and got my biometrics, all the stuff that they want. I did all of that and I paid the fee. Which, by the way, it was not $100. It was not $50. Pay attention. It was over $750 so that I can apply for a citizenship, so that I can have a voice and vote and be one of the people of the Constitution of the United States of America. And now I am an American citizen who can vote. The American Constitution now belongs to me as well. It didn't belong to me when I was just a migrant here. I was still under the jurisdiction as a permanent green card holder. But being an American, that gave me a voice so that I can vote on federal elections. It allowed me to be one of the people. See, when the Constitution says we, the people of the United States of America, it's not talking about illegal immigrants. It's not talking about visitors, migrant workers. It's not talking about them. They're now we, the people. It's talking about everybody under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. But the privilege to vote on the elections, it's only for we the people of the United States of America. Many don't even understand that. Many don't want to understand that. Many don't even think that it's a crime to come into this country illegally. So there's that. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. But that's what a migrant's supposed to do. Follow the law. Respect the rules. And if you made a mistake, there might be a fee. If you have been illegal and you get approved, trust me, they will approve you, but you got to pay a fee, and that's a small price to pay. Now, why do I tell you about the fees? For every single American that complains about the Save America Act, don't be stupid. Don't be lazy. Stop making the dumbass excuses. I had to go and apply, get my biometrics. I had to get my birth certificate. I have to get the information from my mother being an American citizen. I had to go get all the information myself. I had to pay over $750. All so that I can vote. So that I can vote. And you give me the bullshit ass excuse that you can't get a damn ID to vote. Because you got married and changed your name. You can't come up with a birth certificate? How ridiculous. It's a dumbass excuse. Lazy ass Americans. You don't belong in America. Unfortunately, we can't kick you out. But you don't deserve to be an American with that bullshit is unconstitutional. It's not unconstitutional, Mr. Chris. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. How the hell is that unconstitutional, you dumbass? How do I know who you are? How do I stop illegal immigrants from voting? How do I stop residents from voting? How do you do it? Everybody, let's go to California and vote for Republicans. Stupid people say that that is unconstitutional. Tell me you don't own a house. Tell me you don't rent a place. Tell me you're homeless, and I believe you. If you rent an apartment, you have a freaking ID. If you own a house, you have an ID. If you have a bank account, you have an ID. If you smoke, you have an ID. If you drink, you have an ID. Don't give me that bullshit that is unconstitutional. Sorry ass motherfuckers with excuses to be a good American citizen. It is your duty, doggone it, to make sure that everything is legit. And if you have to go get a damn ID, a new ID, and get your birth certificate again, you go do that. It is your duty as an American citizen. I just gave you a long list of things that I had to do so that I can vote. How the hell is an ID unconstitutional? Unbelievable. You don't want to go fight in the military, and then you don't want to go in here and defend your country from within. How do we fight in this country? By respecting the law, by following the law, following the process, and making sure everybody else does. I can believe that as a migrant, I can read the Constitution better than the Supreme Court has in the last couple hundred years. Crazy. Crazy. All right, from London.
When I suggest, is it a week? Is it more than a week? Seem to be suggesting that it would be less than a week. But I think to try to hold on to specific words when this backwards and forwards ping pong, as one source has described.
He was vindicated. He was acquitted. Go look it up. Go see what that means, because you don't speak English, apparently.
It to me between the US and Iran over the talks, but it's that lack of trust, and I think we sort of got a sense of that from the main negotiator in Iran, Mohammad Ghalibaf, the Speaker of Parliament, and also note how he is dressed, a politician here with an IRGC background, but dressed here in military fatigues.
The soldiers on the diplomatic front have absolutely no trust in the enemy's words and promises. Our only criteria is to achieve tangible results before we fulfill our commitments in return. Until we are certain that the rights of the Iranian people have been secured, we will not approve any agreement.
So when you have a
Wait, what was that question? Why MAGA support the killing of babies by rejecting blood transfusion? Adam Cooper, why don't you go shove that question up your ass and go ask the Socialist Democrats why they support killing millions and millions of babies through abortions? Now shut the hell up.
Politician like that dressed in military fatigues, it's all part of the symbolic and positional messaging that's going on here. And Iran's key lack of trust and faith in the United States is, will it follow through? And it wants these commitments to be stood up more boldly, if you will, it appears, on war reparations, money for war damage, frozen funds to be released. And they don't want to get dragged into a public debate and put out publicly what's being said or not behind closed doors about Iran's position on its highly enriched uranium and its position on enriching uranium going forward. And that's why I think there's so much secrecy around what's going on. The President Trump doesn't want these details out there because he doesn't want to be seen to be giving Iran an easy time or a lot of money associated with whatever deal comes through. And we're stuck in that. But so best estimate to your answer, I'll go back to what the source said a little while ago. You know, maybe we're looking at a week or so.
Joining me now to discuss more about this, CNN Global Affairs analyst Kim Dozier and CNN military analyst Colonel Cedric Leighton. Kim, to you first. Is the ceasefire essentially over? Are we at square one here, or is this kind of a typical thing during warfare that they're going to be exchanging fire?
Yeah, we're still in the small skirmish level. We haven't seen the U.S. return to all-out strikes together with Israel across Iran. But we are coming to a date on the calendar which has got some of us a little bit anxious. You know, Saudi Arabia had asked the White House to delay a return to strikes and try to make a deal, but at least to delay strikes until the end of the Hajj. And that's about now, when you've got Eid and celebrations. So you could see President Trump sending this text back that Elena talked about, and if Iran says no, perhaps a return to strikes, which Israel has been pushing for. Then again, we haven't seen President Trump at any point apparently satisfied that he's got a military plan to take back the Strait of Hormuz, and that's really what he's holding out for. He needs that open.
Colonel Layton, the New York Times has the U.S. military saying that it's quietly guiding ships through the Strait of Hormuz, an official telling them about 70 have been guided through, commercial ships. Can you give us some sense of the precariousness of this kind of move and all of this, with the Strait being what it is today?
Yes, Sarah, good morning. One of the things that they have to watch out for, of course, is mines. And that's really the most important thing that the Navy has to deal with as they guide these ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, the other things they have to watch out for are drones and Iranian missiles. So it really amounts to a complete overwatch element that has to be used here. And in order to do this, they have to very carefully navigate a very narrow passageway, that 21-mile passageway between the tip of Oman and the Iranian coast. And when you do that, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. They're very, the U.S. Navy has had a lot of experience going through these waters over many years, many decades, and they know the area quite well, so they can tell when there's an anomaly, but there's always a chance that a mine could be there, or that something else could happen, such as a drone attack or a missile attack, that could, render this kind of an operation very dangerous.
Look, Iran's chief negotiator has said the U.S. is not complying with the ceasefire after those weekend strikes. Here's what he put on X. He said the naval blockade and escalation of war crimes in Lebanon by the genocidal Zionist regime are clear evidence of U.S. noncompliance with the ceasefire. It's interesting here that he has added Lebanon into the mix. What does this tell you, Kim, about the negotiation expectations? Because for a long time, as we've understood it, it has to do with opening the strait, at least the MOU, and the nuclear capabilities of Iran. Lebanon didn't seem to be on the table. What does this tell you?
Yeah. Iran is saying that Lebanon is still part of what it needs to see, especially as we're watching Israel ratchet up the attacks. They just took the Beaufort Fort. That's a Crusader-era fort that has sort of a high point over much of southern Lebanon, but it is a real touch point in Israeli society. The last time the Israelis occupied it was 1982, in that nearly 20-year occupation of Lebanon. So it's signals that Netanyahu is not ready to leave that fight. Hezbollah has also been attacking south, and Iran is saying, you've got to solve that or you're not going to have a full deal with us.
Sina Zodi is the director of the Middle East Studies program at George Washington University. He's also the author of Iran and the Bomb, the United States, Iran and the Nuclear Question. He joins me from Washington, D.C. It's good to see you, sir. President Trump has apparently sent back changes to this draft agreement. Based on what we're hearing, does this suggest that the two sides are actually close to a deal, or are there still major obstacles for them to overcome?
I think we are still close to the deal. We heard in the past few days that they were very close to the deal, but it appears to me that President Trump is under a lot of pressure, and it was in your reporting actually, that he's under pressure from the right wing of his party, a lot of pundits on the right side, the people who really have historically opposed diplomacy between Iran and the United States. So he really doesn't want to give him any excuses. That's why he needs to adopt a more kind of a hardliner position, especially when it comes, again, as it was in your reporting, unfreezing of the Iranian assets. This is why I think there's a lot of back and forth. The Iranian side has also said that they want assurances about the deal and the future of the deal. They've also threatened that if it doesn't serve their interests, they're going to tear it apart. And they actually used the example of the US in 2015. So there's a lot of back and forth, and both sides are trying to protect their chips.
President Trump did recently describe the deal as largely finalized, though. So do you think that was an accurate reflection of where things were at?
I think so, but we have to keep in mind that nothing is agreed until everything is agreed upon, meaning that this MOU or the Memorandum of Understanding that Iran and the United States are trying to come to an agreement, it really involves a political understanding about ending the conflict and Iran's commitment not to ever procure in any way nuclear weapons. But it's going to be far more in detail. There has to be technical understanding of how Iran will curtail its nuclear program and so on and so forth, and what will the United States do. But I still think we're very close, but the details need to be discussed and agreed.
If a deal is reached, what would success actually look like for the United States? Is the goal preventing Iran from building a nuclear weapon or eliminating its nuclear future altogether?
Well, I think the president's stated comments are that Iran cannot have developed nuclear weapons. This is something that the Iranians have committed themselves under the NPT and actually JCPOA. But I think the president is conflating no nuclear weapons with dismantling of the Iranian nuclear program, meaning that he really, at least he's under pressure from some people, to pressure Iranians to completely dismantle the nuclear program, something that they are not going to agree to. They want to preserve some nuclear capacity. But if he really wants no nuclear weapons, I think there are many ways to ensure that Iran cannot procure or sneak out and develop nuclear weapons. I think there are many ways to do that. For example, the option of zero stockpile of enriched uranium, which was previously on the table, and the Iranians had agreed to it. I think that's one way to ensure that they can never develop nuclear weapons. A moratorium also on enriching uranium, that's also another way that would ease the concerns of the United States for a long period of time.
Now, a lot of people have asked.
Hold on, Maria. You are not on my queue. So, you guys wondering a lot about, I mean, if you're a subscriber or a member in my channel, you already know what's up. You already know what's happening in our country. Now, for those of you who don't know why gas prices are up there, why prices of groceries are up there, I want you to go and do some research. Listen, you need to seriously stop blaming Israel for everything. You have to stop blaming the rich people for everything. You need to hold your local government accountable for every tax dollar that goes into government. Go find out how much are you paying for property taxes? And why? Why do we allow people that are not property owners to vote? When you don't have a burden, you don't give a shit about somebody else's. When you are playing with other people's money, you don't care because you didn't have to earn it. I want you to understand something. The average representative, Congress, senators, they're making almost a couple $100,000 a year. And they bitch and complain that they haven't got a raise. That's a lot of freaking money to be a servant. The governor's position is going to be here in July, I believe, is going to be at $234,000 a year. That doesn't even put the governor at $1 million. So he's never going to suffer from taxing or overtaxing. You see, if a governor is making $200,000, when he raises taxes, he can still afford the gas. He can still afford the food. He can still afford his living. But those who are under $100,000, those are the people that feel it the hardest. Unfortunately, most of the people that are under that bracket are not very informed. They're not very smart to fight back for what's right. There's a lot of people out there that are below that margin, but because the system has failed them. They have worked. You know, I miss my sister Trinity. I hope she's doing okay. I haven't heard from her yet. She's still a member on my channel. So I hope that she gets to hear this sometime. I miss my sister Trinity because she worked her ass off. And she was making about $150,000 a year. So she was making good money, and she got her own house and, got her own car, taking care of her own kids, etc. What a woman, by the way. I miss her so much. God, I hope God is taking care of her. These politicians, they don't care. They don't care about us. See, that's why I said if I become governor of here, Washington State, we all love Trinity, 100%. That's why I said if I become governor, I will take $150,000 salary. And after taxes, everything else can be donated. And I really hope, that I don't stop doing this channel. Because remember, guys, the main goal that I have on this channel is we want to reach 100,000 subscribers, maybe more. But we want to be, hey, Janice, but we want to be able to build a nonprofit, right? A nonprofit, collect funds, and, we're going to do, little by little, we're going to do the best that we can for the communities. Something to lift the spirits of the communities. Make them feel special. You see, I wish more people thought like that. I wish more people felt that way. Instead of blaming the rich. You know what I'm saying? Instead of blaming Trump for all the things that he has to take care of. Imagine if people actually stopped complaining about the rich and started saying, you know what? I got to do something to better myself. You remember the stories? Sometimes you have like a 60-year-old just finishing school and went back to college and she's graduating because she wants to be able to have a degree and make better money. I mean, she's ready to retire. But nonetheless, they never give up in life. And they continue to educate themselves. That's what we want. Okay, Chris, since you're putting that on there, you said Chinese home ownership is at 95%. Tell me, why are you Chinese? And do you own your house? Why not American? Why not American? Why not American? Americans can do that. I remember in America, Uncommon Woman, how are you, sweetheart? I remember a time in America where education was very important. And there was this thing that they had because some teenagers, right, like myself, I wasn't smart enough to do it. But some teenagers like myself were in a position where they may not graduate high school or go to college. So they invented these things calling workshops where you learn a trade. There is a snow aisle, that's what it's called, I believe. I think that's the name. Snow aisle is a place where they used to teach basic mechanics so you can work on cars. And education was so important. So you either had the vision of going to college, or you'll have the vision of having a trade, become a mechanic, a photographer, electronic technician, whatever it was. And that's one of the things. Oh, I love you too, Mr. Simpson. Yeah, get it charged up. I know that feeling, brother. How about good one, bruh? Thanks for being in here. And, you know, that's one of the things that we don't have anymore. You know, our teachers never taught us to be gay. They never said it was bad, but they never said go be gay. They never made us question ourselves. Hollywood did. Shows like, Friends, right? Every single episode, Joey and what's his name, Chandler, always talking about porn. Veronica married him. Oh, look, honey. Look what I got for your birthday. Your favorite. Boom, porn. It's our anniversary. I got the porn for you. It's in the room. Porn, 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 porn. I get it. I get it. It's a physical desire. I get it. But they played us so much into our society. Now you got all these different easy access porn sites. It's crazy. Very tempting. But it's crazy. You know, my wife tells me today, she said, you know what, honey? When you go away for like 3 days, a week, or 2 weeks, or whatever it is, like when you go to Honduras or whatever, she says, I trust you so much because I know you're a faithful husband. I see how you talk to people. I see how you talk to me on the phone all the time. Listen, not to get too personal, but I'm going to tell you what I tell my wife when I'm out there. Like especially in Hawaii, right? Honduras with the honeys and all these other stuff, right? What do I tell my wife when I am out there away from her? I always tell her to go with me, but she never goes. Next trip, she will go with me. I'm going to force her to go with me. You guys are witness, right? When I was in Honduras, you guys know how I express myself about my wife. And every time that I am away from home, I always tell my wife how beautiful she is, how much I miss her, how much I want to be with her, how much I long for her. Somebody that's out there cheating doesn't do that. She knows it's so easy, and maybe that's why she supports my channel. Because she knows that wherever I go, I'm going to go live. She knows that I'm going to be out there making videos. And when I do that, I show myself, not just to her, but to the world. And I love that. You know that? I look, don't get me wrong, I look. But I don't desire. I can't wait to come home to my wife. It's the best feeling. It is the best feeling. I can't wait to come home to my wife. But anyway, getting a little bit too far from the subject here. Let's go ahead and take a listen to how Fox actually reports. Oh, not this one, not this one. Ooh, I'm glad I checked before I hit play. We want the Fox review of the U.S. military strikes on Iranian air defenses. Now, I want you to I want you to understand this. Whenever we listen to CNN news, we just watched it, right? They said more things about Iran, the regime. Nothing against the regime, just more about the Iran. The missiles flying out, right, from the Iranian news channel. Everything was Iran, 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 and they make the United States of America look weak. But what they don't know is that we can fart on the Iranian regime and whatever hundreds of thousands of people follow them and kill them all. But we just don't want to. They don't understand that part. Now let's take a listen to see how Fox says it.
Right to Alex Hogan, who is live in D.C. with the latest on Iran. Good morning, Alex. Good morning. So, U.S. Central Command made this announcement just hours ago, saying American forces carried out strikes this weekend, bombing Iranian radar and drone control sites in Gorak, Iran, and Qasem Island. And according to Central Command, the measured and deliberate strikes occurred on Saturday and Sunday in response to aggressive Iranian actions that included the shootdown of a U.S. MQ-1 drone that was operating over international waters. U.S. fighter aircraft swiftly responded by eliminating Iranian air defenses, a ground control station, and 2 one-way attack drones that pose clear threats to ships transiting regional waters. And now Kuwait says it's intercepting incoming drone and missile fire. That comes as Iran confirmed it carried out retaliatory strikes today. And Iran's Revolutionary Guard today says the source of that is what it calls U.S. attacks on a telecommunication tower. President Trump met with advisors in the Situation Room here at the White House here in Washington on Friday, but had yet to make an announcement over the weekend over how to move forward. Overnight, he posted on Truth Social, writing in part, Iran really wants to make a deal, and it will be a good one for the USA and those that are with us. Both the U.S. and Iran have exchanged strikes since the ceasefire started in early April. It's not clear yet how these strikes will impact the ongoing negotiations to end the war that has now stretched 3 months. Todd, Ashley.
Okay, Alex, thank you.
Before we get that next, look who's live right now. Look who's live.
Show me support. I'm gonna show y'all support. I appreciate your help. I appreciate your support.
Let's leave him a comment here. Hold on.
Let me turn the camera around real quick. I got 2 sets of glasses on. I got my Beats glasses on, and I got my reading glasses on so I can read chat.
Let's see if he reads.
Thank y'all for your support. That's my license plate, Baja Joe's, South Carolina. That's my channel, Real Fishing for Life. That's my channel, Real Fishing for Life. I appreciate y'all. I would have none of this without any of y'all. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for being here. Victor, thank you. I appreciate you. Nice glasses. Oh, man, it's hot. It is hot. I got my shoes on. I'm probably going to take them off. If I go down to the water, I'm definitely going to take them off, y'all.
Let's see if it reads our comment.
But I definitely have my shoes on. I'm definitely going to have to change that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Victor. King Rick, thank you. I appreciate you. Dennis, my brother Dennis Herrera, thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. I have the subs I need. I'm working on my watch hours. Our communities that are combined worldwide are helping me with my watch hours. I'm sure this month I'll be monetized, and I'm not going to change, y'all. I'm going to be the same person. I'm not a chameleon. I'm live on the Dennis Herrera show. That I love that. Hello, Brian.
Yeah.
Hello, man. Uh, oh man, what's her name? I can't even. She supports me so much from the Dennis Herrera show. Let me show y'all the beach, y'all. Welcome to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, y'all. Welcome to my house. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. Thank you for supporting me. Let's go, chat. Double tap the screen, like and subscribe. 20 people in the chat, 15 likes. Come on, y'all. It's free. I'm not monetized. Just double tap the screen and subscribe to me. Watch a short video, like it, drop a comment. If you drop a comment, I can get back to you and I can support your channel as well.
He's got 20 people watching. I only got
My brother
22.
Chuck.
What the hell's going on?
Thank you for being here, bro. I have to finish that restaurant tonight so I can get a paycheck. My wife's mad at me. I've been spending too much money on YouTube. She's not mad. We don't get down like that, but I got to get that money back. I'll finish that restaurant tonight, and I got to build 3 decks. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
He's not here. I'm just.
Sammy's, let me give you a jacket.
I'm just streaming his live.
I'm subscribed to you. I subscribed to you today on Chuck's channel.
All right, let's continue.
Moderator.
Let's give him that view. I'll put him here on the side. Let's continue with our news.
CENTCOM confirming the U.S. military has struck more Iranian targets after the downing of an American drone as the U.S.-Iran ceasefire is once again tested. President Trump commenting on negotiations with Tehran with Fox's Lar Trump.
We're making a great deal. We're going to make a great deal. Other, we'll just go back and finish it off militarily. We're getting what we want slowly. Very tough negotiators. It takes a long time. I'm in no hurry. I'd like to say I'm in a hurry because, you know, gasoline prices are going to come tumbling down. But if you're going to be in a hurry, you're not going to make a good deal. And slowly but surely, we're getting, I think, what we want. And if we don't get what we want, we're going to end it a different way.
Joining us today to discuss this is the former Deputy National Security Advisor for VP Cheney, Steve Yates. Steve, thanks for getting up and talking to us about this. You heard Trump just there say he was in no hurry to get a deal done. Do you think this is what the Iranians are kind of banking on? Because before you know it, we're going to be in August and September, then there's some midterms, and we're still left with these high gas prices.
Well, the Iranian regime, the remnants of it, definitely have as part of their strategy playing for time. But the president is exercising a patient approach that I don't think very many of his critics would have assumed he would have in his toolkit. We have maximum pressure from the economic policy side of things, military side of things, and he's tried to move forward with a different kind of diplomatic strategy, making sure that allies in the region are prepared to carry forward what I would consider to be maintenance mode. And I think what we saw over the weekend is a little bit what that maintenance mode would look like. If you have remnants of a regime, when you have a regime that size, its military capabilities are never going to go to zero. But when they act out in ways that challenge freedom of navigation, use the tentacles of terror, or look like they're going back to resume the nuclear program, then they'll be hit by us or an ally to try to keep things on course. So I think that's what the president's gradualism is aimed at. I certainly hope that the Strait is open very, very soon and that the pressure campaign is working. At this point, it's hard to watch from the outside because we just can't have certainty. But I think the correlation of power is the right mix at this point.
You know, Steve, a few different outlets reporting this weekend that, you know, this move is more about specifics of how the U.S. gets the material and the timing, and that's in the reference to enriched uranium. And they're also wanting to amend some of the wording and language around opening the Strait of Hormuz. How important is that?
Well, I think facts on the ground are going to matter much more than the wording of agreements. And that's going to come ultimately by this coalition of power that the president is exercising and basically forcing these things to move forward the right way. We have more time when it comes to trying to deal with the ultimate disposition of this very degraded nuclear program. It's a concern, but it's one of those things that it's much, much more important that we continue to degrade the IRGC, this military capability of Iran, and make sure that is in check. That is sort of the tallest tent pole in the Iranian tent this this point. The civilian leadership is degraded. The mullahs, we haven't even had a proof of life out of the new Ayatollah in a while. It's the IRGC that we're trying to influence and contain at this point. I think that has to be mission number one.
You know, we talk a lot about the Strait of Hormuz, and in the news media and politicians, they just assume that the average American knows what those words mean and what they are. But in all reality, they don't. So paint us a picture, if you could quickly, of if we don't have a deal made by September, August, around that time, what the next year could look like for us here in America.
Well, the Strait of Hormuz is a faraway place. People can be excused for not thinking about it, but it's a very narrow passage where a high percentage of oil, natural gas, and other commodities will transit. It tends to feed world markets. That matters to Americans, even though we have an abundance. If world prices are high, then the abundance we have will get sold to those international markets. That's the way free markets are going to work, and that means prices can still be high for us. But ultimately, I think if the president gets the right allies, our Arab allies and others, to step in and execute on what maintenance needs to look like in this region, that frees America up to focus on our prosperity, other challenges around the world, say a revisionist China trying to challenge us on economic competition and national security challenges in the Indo-Pacific.
You know, and then there's also the question, just because Tehran agrees to this and Iran agrees to this, who's to say they're even going to stick to it?
My assumption is that they won't, and that's why I think that the coalition of power has to remain in place. We can change what the balance of that is in terms of the expense and the presence of America, but the United States, under President Trump's leadership, has proven that we can come from this side of the world and strike decisively targets anywhere in the world without them knowing we're coming or going. And if we arm and work with our other allies, they have the capability to take better care of their neighborhood. I think we're getting close to that mix. I think the last piece of this has to be the insurers. That's where the financial part of the world has to make it affordable for the shippers to take the necessary risk to actually move their cargo. That has been, I think, a missing link in the last couple of months. It has to happen soon.
Okay, Steve Yates, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
I was too busy typing over here, but Thomas the Tailor says that we are anti-American because we gave this country to Trump. Isn't that interesting? Because you gave it to illegal immigrants. So shut the hell up. Ah, man. Who is anti-American? The hypocrisy of these libtards. Their nerves. This is how I know you guys are retarded. Oh, boy. Let me tell you something. Any Democrat that comes to my channel and supports America first, it's on our side. If you support illegal immigrants, get the hell out of my chat. Now, speaking of education, I told you, there was a time where education meant something. Now, this video is old. I've seen this a long time ago. But I want you to look at, I get it. You know, we all throw the hats off and everything, and woo, we scream and everything is great. But check this out. Check this out. This is black people. Black people celebrating their graduation. Remember this video? Look at that. I'm sorry, but black fatigue is real. Oh, man. I have to show you that because, you know, it is contagious. It is contagious. That's funny, right? Hey, Stewie girl, how are you? Good to see you on here. Oh, Farkle. If Don blocked you, you must have said something dumb. Let me see. I love the idiot who wears a cross and insults the guests. Talk about a hypocrite. What do you think I'm supposed to be doing with this cross? You think I should be sweet talking to you, dumbass? You think I'm not the kind of Christian. I keep telling you guys, you don't listen. I'm not the kind of Christian you want me to be. I'm the Christian that I need to be today. Get that straight through your narrow, little, tiny, peasy brain. Okay? Get that through your little brain, if you can. As a matter of fact, that's probably way too much to ask you for. I'm sorry about that. I keep thinking that there is something of some sort of brain activity going on the elliptards' heads. But I can be wrong sometimes. I can be wrong sometimes. So I apologize for assuming that you have some common sense. Here is changing gears a little bit. Oh, I do want to show you guys this. Well, I'm not going to really show you because you won't be able to see it, but I'll do my best to help you see it a little bit. Now, this is just me fact-checking what I heard earlier. And what I heard was that the Iranian president, Mossad Pezeshkian, reportedly submitted a letter of resignation to the supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. He cited that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has seized control of all major decision-making, effectively excluding the civilian government and leaving him unable to fulfill his legal responsibilities. Well. You wonder why the Strait of Hormuz, it's open and then closes and opens and closes and ceasefires get broken. Well, this is what's happening over there. Now, a lot of morons on the left like to blame Trump because this is what they look for. They look for anything. They look for Trump to fail on any field so that they can blame him, so they can have something to hate him on besides what they already hate him on. And the reason why they're trying to find something new to hate him on is because they have no proof for everything else that they have been blaming him for. He has been fully acquitted. He has been vindicted. Vindicated, sorry. He is vindictive like me, but he's been vindicated. Vindicated. Man, excuse the accent. You know what I'm saying. You know the thing. The thing. You know the thing. While the initial report broke via the London-based outlet, Iran International official, Iranian state media, and the presidential office have vehemently denied the resignation. Presidential communications officials dismissed the claims as false, referring to them as media games orchestrated by foreign outlets. Of course it is. As of now, the supreme leader has not commented on the letter's status, and Pezeshkian's resignation has not been confirmed by the international wire services. The situation highlights significant internal power struggles amidst ongoing negotiations involving the U.S. and Iran. You can follow live updates on this developing diplomatic and political situation through Fox News. I should get paid for that one. I should get paid for that advertisement right there. All right. Now, the Democrats are very furious. Furious about former First Lady Jill Biden. Apparently, she has released some weird information on her new book. Oh, excuse me, a doctor. Dr. Jill Biden. Let's take a listen to the report. You Democrats. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of you that were Democrats as I was. Well, I've been both sides. So I say Democrats for the hell of it. But what I really mean is the policies that Democrats supported. I never changed parties. I always support the policies that put Americans first. The parties are the ones that leave us. The parties are the ones that abandon us. But if you want to vote Let me tell you something. For the midterm elections and your next elections and for the rest of the future of your life, stop it. Stop voting with loyalty and start voting with patriotism. What do I mean? Vote for the candidate that is going to put you, the American people, first. It's very easy. It's not hard to determine who is a good candidate. There will never, ever be a perfect candidate. It just never will be. It's impossible to have a perfect candidate. Even if I was president, which I can never be, but even if I was president, I can tell you, I have dedicated myself to just serving people 100% of myself. My wife is my witness. 100% of myself. And she has been there with me, by my side. And we have given our marriage. We put our marriage on the side, so to speak. And we gave ourselves to people 100%. You know what we got as a reward? We got backstabbed, double-crossed. People talk shit behind our backs. They lied to us. They used us. Anything you can think of, they did against us. And we gave 100% of ourselves to them in the name of God, in the name of serving as our Lord Jesus Christ did, and many disciples. We did all of the sacrificing in the name of Jesus Christ. And what do we get for it? We got crucified, so to speak. So, I know that I won't be able to please everybody. But the fact is that it doesn't matter how I put America first. I can explain this over and over and over, and the leftist mentality will just never understand. I always tell people, and you guys are my witness, hey babe. I always tell people, just when you make a decision, get rid of Trump. Don't put Trump in the decision making. Find out what's happening, really. What is happening into our country? What's happened to the economy? You have this hate for Trump, and you automatically think everything is Trump's fault. You forget that President Trump does not have control of your state or your city. He doesn't. Just like the state doesn't have control of the federal government either. They can't stop ICE. ICE has jurisdiction all over the United States of America. States are just locals. Washington has no jurisdiction over Arizona or Oregon or Idaho. They don't. That's right, Mr. Mikey. Jesus said, pick up your cross and follow me. You got to take it. But you know what? We stopped that so that I can take care of my marriage. And that is the difference. Oh, Jason Beatrice in the house, dropping in the big bucks. But anyways, we'll take a pause from that, switch gears, and let's go take a listen to what Dr. Jill Biden has been saying on her book.
Democrats who want to focus on the midterms are reportedly fuming over former First Lady Jill Biden's book tour as she delivers a play-by-play campaign of the 2024 race, including former President Joe Biden's disastrous debate performance.
Madeline Herrera is live in Washington with all the details. Hi, Maddie.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. That's right. Former First Lady Jill Biden's new book is coming under a lot of scrutiny for some nuggets that she shared. For one, she says she was frightened by former President Joe Biden's debate performance in 2024 and thought he might have been having a stroke
or that he was drugged. But at the time, she defended her husband's debate performance, his team chalking up his stumbles to a cold. Democrats are reportedly angry that the former First Lady is bringing up these old wounds as they try to win back Congress. One Democrat who worked as a senior aide in the Biden era tells the New York Post, "I think Jill Biden must have had a stroke herself to think that her husband was up to the job." Still, she insists her husband was not in cognitive decline, even as she admits he was slowing down.
Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
People were saying he wasn't the same Joe Biden.
Well, I don't think that's true. He was the essence of the same Joe Biden, but yeah, he was slowing down. He was getting older. I mean, we all observe that. When you know, it's a very intense job. I think it ages you quickly.
Jill also says she disagreed with former President Biden's initial refusal to pardon their son, Hunter. Per an excerpt obtained by the Associated Press, she wrote, "In the end, it felt like in working so hard to be impartial, we guaranteed that Hunter would meet the worst possible legal fate. Joe might have gone too far, in my opinion, to show that his family was being treated with complete impartiality." Jill also shares she was fired from Northern Virginia Community College in 2023 after the grant used to pay her salary dried up. Ultimately, though, the issue was resolved and she kept her teaching position until she left in December 2024. Carly and Todd.
Maddie, thank you. Let's bring in senior writer for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor Joe Concha. And Joe, there are a lot of angles to take on this story, but there's one that seems to rise above all else, and I'm going to repeat it here. If you think your husband has had a stroke, you immediately head to the hospital. You don't immediately head to a Waffle House. Why is she doing this, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, after that debate, she did go to Waffle House with her husband. Obviously, syrup, butter, waffles, probably not great for the heart at that point. And guys, look, the Bidens are worth somewhere around $10 million. You could draw your own conclusions as to why that is. So why write a book if you're Dr. Jill Biden and air all this laundry that she's talking about now? She disagrees with Hunter Biden being pardoned. Well, all right, take that up with your husband privately. You got to put that in a book so you could sell a couple more copies. And also, zero people not named Biden are buying Jill Biden's contention that what happened at that debate was a one-off in terms of his brain turning to mashed potatoes for the world to see. His cognitive decline was apparent for years, dating all the way back to the 2020 campaign to that point. And again, look, if she is going to lead a chant of 4 more years at the Waffle House like she did after that debate, while praising her husband for answering every question perfectly, she was willing to put her husband, who clearly she was worried about either having a stroke or going through this cognitive decline, she wanted him back in there until 2029 because she really, really wanted to be First Lady and all the power and prestige that goes with that, and was willing to just basically allow her husband to be in the most stressful job in the world when clearly he needed to retire at that point. So I can't imagine a worse spouse that you could think of in this country right now. But there's Jill Biden, and I can't imagine any Democrat or Republican buying this book when it goes on sale next week, because it just shows that she is somebody who was only interested in her own power instead of the welfare of her husband, Carly.
And as you might imagine, Joe, quickly, Democrats not happy with this as they head into midterms. They want the focus to be on all the issues. They do not want the focus to be on this. So they are not happy
Yeah, one
with
Democrat
this,
operative said that they needed this news cycle, like somebody needs a hole in their head. So yeah, not happy to say the least. And you know, I feel like this is the First Lady trying to restore some of her own legacy in a way, and by continuously lying and in sort of different ways, depending on what she's saying, it feels like she's only making things worse for herself. But Joe, we also want to get to this because late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel took on Spencer Pratt in his LA mayoral campaign last night. Listen to what he had to say.
His profession is to be the screaming jerk on reality shows. Mayor should not be your first job. The mayor of LA is in charge of a $14 billion annual budget.
That is a total socialist Democrat libtard if I ever saw one right there. Who the fuck does he think he is? He's a loser comedian. That's it. Loser comedian who's making money just by hating Trump and Republicans. That's it. He gets paid by the Democrat rats. This guy, who made him the professional? Who made him the right person to judge somebody else? The hypocrisy, the stupidity of the leftists is what amazes me. People that like to come in here and talk about somebody else's business as if they are any better. He's a damn talk show host. That's it. He ain't no damn professional. He ain't no doctor. Even if he was, I don't give a shit. The reason why I mention him is because he is not in a position to say anything about Pratt. He is also in entertaining, just like Pratt was. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. Tanya, are you leaving? Where's Tanya going? Oh, Tanya, I got to leave now. I got you guys. All right, Tanya. See you later, sis. Thanks for stopping by, Mama.
Spencer Pratt is not the person who should be in charge of it.
You know, when I watch this, it's no shock that he's criticizing Spencer Pratt. And in a way, it's sort of good for Pratt because it's like clearly he's getting the attention that he needs to really potentially shake things up here.
Absolutely, Carly. And you watch these monologues and you don't laugh. I mean, that's kind of the point. That's what Jimmy Kimmel gets paid millions of dollars to do. Instead, it's these screeds saying that, well, Spencer Pratt should be in charge of Los Angeles, so Karen Bass, who's at 25% approval, should. Kimmel lives in a gated community, by the way, multi-million-dollar mansion in Los Angeles. He's an elitist who's among those 17,000 people who saw their homes either badly damaged or burned to the ground during those wildfires 18 months ago. And the fact that he is so reflexively anti-anyone who doesn't have a D next to their name shows he has no courage or moral compass. At least Bill Maher, who lives in Los Angeles, is willing to call Democrats like Karen Bass out. And Spencer Pratt is running on four very simple issues, guys. He wants people's homes to be rebuilt much faster than is happening now. He wants the homeless problem and that crisis, it's not even a problem, it's a crisis, to be addressed the right way. He wants all those addicted to drugs to get the help that they need. And he wants rampant fraud and abuse to cease to exist. And oh, by the way, he wants parks to have more kids playing in it again than needles to step on, as is the current situation now. Jimmy Kimmel, for whatever reason, has a big problem with that because he is for the status quo and he doesn't feel all these problems because of all the millions that Disney pays him to be shielded from that. It's really that simple. And to watch this show and these monologues to go on and on about Spencer Pratt, the guy is supposed to be an entertainer and give us escapism at 11:35 at night, and now it's a bad version of MSNBC meets CNN. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and the Los Angeles Times latest polling shows Karen Bass still in first, Nithya Raman in second, Spencer Pratt in third, all very close poll numbers. So this isn't over until it's over. We will soon find out what happens because the election's next week, but he is certainly sparking a lot of conversations that many people in LA feel like are desperately needed to be had. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Joe.
But I have another clip that I just find here for you guys.
If any of the candidates don't get 50%.
Now, this is 16 hours ago, so it might be the latest. But I want you to pay attention. The only reason why the second, what's her name, Raman is running, which, by the way, she's about to get busted for some scams, for fraud. But the only reason why she's running is to actually reserve those followers with her. And the moment that she steps down, she's going to go ahead and sponsor Basura 100%. And that's going to put Bass over Pratt, unfortunately. But there's still a chance that Pratt can win this. Hopefully, Californians are not as stupid as I think they are. And I'm not talking about you on the conservative side or the ones that actually love California. I'm talking about the other side who have been morons voting these damn socialist Democrats for too long in their state.
Of the vote on Tuesday, the race will go into a runoff with the top two candidates.
their sound is so annoying. LA Mayor Karen Bass polled just behind Pratt at 29.5%, creating a tight race between the Democrat and former reality TV host show. Socialist Councilwoman Nydia Rahman is placed third at 23.4%. Garbage. So there you have it. There you have it. That's how we are doing right now on this. Let me show you this little clip from, what's his brother's name? The Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum is sharing some black graduation ceremonies. They just keep getting worse, he says. Let's check him out for a little bit. And that's how you lose your graduation. That's how you don't graduate. Look at this. Look at this guy. This is how smart they are. Nope. Listen, this is what happens when DEI and the stupid program of Nobody Left Behind fails our communities, our society. They say that people are just prejudiced and racist when they point out the obvious. It's not. It's not racist. You got to call it for what it is. You got to call it for what it is. Now, DHS Secretary Mark Wayne "The Rock" Mullen is doing a live right now. But I want to show you a clip. Yes, from Fox. Check this out. This is what's happening on the ICE facility in Newark.
So at least 20 arrests were made as Newark orders an overnight curfew around Delaney Hall after protests turned violent outside the ICE detention facility. Now the governor, Mikey Sherrill, is calling for the facility to shut down.
We've seen what has happened with ICE across the country. I won't let that unfold here. Having worked with New Jersey State Police and local law enforcement, I know how well trained they are, the best in the nation. I trust them to follow our Constitution. I knew it would be better to have them handle the situation rather than ICE. I'll keep pressing DHS to do better.
You know, I want to point out that if they would have been doing that from the beginning, what is the one thing that we always say, that I have always been telling you? I have been telling you, if you want ICE agents and these deportations to go out smoothly, I've said this many times over and over and over again. The police officers need to control the protesters. Let them speak. Let them protest. But the police on blue states have been told to stand down. They wonder why there is a problem with ICE doing what they do. So at least I'm glad they acknowledge that the local police should be dealing with it. I don't understand why people will get mad that the local police is trying to keep citizens safe. Whether they're legal or illegal, it's irrelevant. The police should maintain that peace, should maintain that perimeter where they can protest. They should not be getting in front of federal agent vehicles. It is a crime. It is a felony to even go and touch the federal car, especially when they are in there to arrest a specific people. Many arrests by ICE agents have been very peaceful when the people don't go protest. But no, they found a way the system to communicate where ICE agents will be. It's beyond me why that access is out there. I can tell you, as an American citizen, I don't give a shit if you tell me that you have the right to protest. If that means interfering, obstructing, or becoming an obstacle to federal agents' investigations. I don't give a shit about your protest right, because that's not what protest means. It says in the Constitution, you have your right to peaceably protest. You don't have the right to obstruct justice. You don't have the right to obstruct federal agents. Nice agents, whether you like it or not, are federal agents. The local police can't do shit against them unless they are doing something illegal, that nobody's above the law. But if they are following protocol, if they are following their orders, their instructions, there ain't nothing that the local police can do to them. So again, local police should always be there, not to help ICE investigate, but to stop protesters from becoming an obstacle to justice.
Abide by our nation's Constitution and to close Delaney Hall down for good.
All right, let's bring in former acting DHS Deputy Secretary, Senior Fellow for the Immigration and Homeland Securities at the Center for Renewing America, Ken Cuccinelli. Ken, thanks so much for joining us this morning. I looked at the menu.
Sure thing, Lawrence.
It seems like average day meals that any typical American would eat, but they have a problem with it. What are they talking about?
Well, honestly, Lawrence, I think they'd have a problem no matter what it said. They're cooking up a problem. This is a set of stunts we've seen before at other ICE facilities. I will say that the governor said one thing I agree with, that it's better to have local and state police deal with protesters than to have them dealing directly confronting DHS. That makes a lot more sense. But everything else she said was really just fantasy.
I agree.
Yeah, they want what Hakeem Jeffries is now calling for, which is for the facility to be closed. This seems to be the end goal. Let's listen.
This is not America. Delaney Hall should be shut down, and every single individual, particularly those at a high level connected to this facility, they're engaging in a depraved indifference to human life.
Oh, so it was never about enforcement. It was never about the meals that they were eating. It was about stopping illegals that are in this country from being detained.
Deported. That's
right.
right. Absolutely. And I don't think there's ever any serious question about it. But that clip you just showed, Lawrence, really takes the mask off it, if you will. This has nothing to do with the facility or the meals or how they treat people. And by the way, ICE treats people with the same kind of dignity and respect that we treat people that we hold in local jails or federal prisons and so forth. They have rights, they're human beings, and they're treated with dignity. But they have broken the law, and they're on the path to being deported. So these folks are enforcing the law. And the protesters don't object to the treatment, they object to the law. A law Nancy Pelosi voted for, Joe Biden voted for, Chuck Schumer voted for. That's the law that's being enforced by these NICE agents. And that's what these folks object to. And there's no closing the facility. That, again, that's just political posturing by the governor, who's aligning herself in many ways with these protesters, short of the violence. I'm sure she doesn't want violence in New Jersey. But I think this is being handled correctly by NICE, and I think that the governor is trying to have her cake and eat it too. She is doing the right thing with local and state police dealing with violent protesters, but at the same time, she's doing all the political virtue signaling we've seen from everybody on the left.
Yeah, it took her a while, but once Mark Wayne Mullen said, okay, fine, Newark is not going to get any CBP agents to process people on these international flights, she changed her tune. Smart of her,
which was brilliant.
It was brilliant because he knows exactly what he's doing. Ken, thanks so much for joining the program.
Good to be with you, Lawrence.
Oh, boy. You see what I'm saying? That's common sense. I wouldn't understand why any person, not just libtards or Democrats or whatever, I just don't understand how any person cannot say that that's common sense. Let the ICE agents do their job, but let the police make sure that the peace and order is applied. Let the people protest is their right, but not obstruct, because that's not their right. Okay? So if you're going to obstruct justice and you're going to go impede investigations, I don't give a shit if you tell me that's your right to protest, because it's not. That is not how you protest. Thank you for the shirt compliments. Appreciate you. I love it as well, and I'm going to get different designs. I just got to, be patient. I can't just order things like crazy. You heard Real Fishy for Life? His wife is getting mad at him for spending too much money on YouTube, and there's no money coming in. I have the same problem with my wife. Just kidding, babe. I'm just kidding. No, my wife actually is the opposite. And I know Real Fishy for Life. Jerry, he's a good guy. His wife, she's a tremendous wife as well. They do this together, guys. His wife supports him 100%, and that's why he's pushing it. His wife knows that doing this is what he loves, and he likes to go fishing, and he wants to be blogging out there. Fantastic. My wife knows the same about me. I love doing this. I love blogging. I got about 45 minutes to an hour video coming to my members only. And of course, I'm going to premiere it. So I will be in the chat with you. And I will also be on the video. So I'm going to make myself a little bit small there on the live, and only for members, because nobody else cares about what I say. All right, with that being said, let's go. Hey, Glenn, how are you? Good to see you on here. Mr. Tomato says climbing this is a peaceful protest. No, I'm not sure where you're at with that. Sorry about that. Oh, David has been tagged by Streamlabs. That's a great moderator right there. David got busted by Streamlabs. Bro, that's got to be embarrassing when you get busted by Streamlabs. That's right. BS. Protest does not include bullhorns in people's ears, megaphones on people's ears, whistles on people's ears, self-made barricades and assaulting federal officers, etc. 100% I agree with you. With that being said, let's take a listen to our DHS Secretary, Mark Wayne "The Rock" Mullen. He probably finished his live already, but we'll catch him now.
Some fancy tape you got there. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. We're in Dallas, Texas, at the detention center here, and while we are celebrating 3 individuals for their heroic actions taken on a very dark and bad day, something that should have never taken place, it's the irony of this is that each day we go after the worst of the worst, and that's what the ICE agents and that's what DHS and our other 21 components do on a daily basis. We focus on keeping our homeland safe. But today we get a pause for a little bit and we recognize the best of the best. See, the left, they want to demonize our ICE officers every single day, but really they're enforcing the laws that these individuals that want to demonize them, the congressmen and senators and even governors that want to go out and say they're breaking the Constitution and that they're, I'll call them all these horrific names. The truth is not one thing they can point to where they say they ever broke the Constitution. There's not one thing that they can say that they're doing that is outside the law that they are mandated to do, that Congress has the one that mandated them to do so. They enforce the laws that were passed by our nation's leaders. And when we get a pause for just a second and recognize the activities of 3 individuals that were willing to risk their lives to the same people that were simply being arrested just sometimes an hour before or the day before, but they are being processed here in Dallas, Texas. The fact that they're willing to sacrifice their lives for individuals that's in their custody would speak volumes to what type of law enforcement we have that work in ICE and at DHS. And for me, being the Secretary of DHS, it's an honor to be here today. In fact, in some cases, I feel like I shouldn't even be the one standing up here. I wasn't Secretary at the time, and nor was I here during that tragic moment when 17 shots were fired from a rooftop just a few hundred feet away. But I'm honored to be invited here today, and a guy that responded quickly, that was only a few moments away when the gunfire started, who came in without hesitation. The man that's going to actually be the one that should be presenting the awards, but you're going to be calling the names out. He's going to come up here and speak for a moment, and then we're going to present the awards to these 3 brave individuals. So Robert, why don't you take over the mic from here?
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Robert Serna. I'm a Deputy Field Office Director for ICRO, and I was the first manager that was at the scene on September 24th. September 24th, I remember that morning, it was supposed to be, a busy morning because we had about 70 new surge hire employees coming in, deportation officers coming in. So we were going to be pretty busy that morning. I was coming to the office a little bit earlier than usual when I got notified about, shots being fired at our office. Now I was only about 5 miles away. It didn't take me that long to get here, but just arriving to the scene, not knowing exactly what I was going to encounter. I've been doing this job. I've been working for, in immigration with INS and CBP and ICE for about 27 years. And, we train all the time for different situations, but this tragic situation that we had on the 24th is just, it's a senseless act. It was an act targeted, an act of violence targeted towards us, towards ICE. That morning, 3 individuals, 3 detainees that were in one of our detention vans were struck by the sniper. The sniper thought that he was striking a van with our employees, but he actually hit three of our detainees. There was 10 others in that vehicle. At the time, we did have help from some of our other partners, federal partners. So I do want to thank that help. And we had HSI, ICE HSI, we had FBI, FPS, we had the Department of War, we had Texas DPS, and then I'd like to thank Dallas PD for responding. I remember getting here in the morning, witnessing our officers go to action and helping the individuals that were wounded with gunshots. You know, they were treating to them. They were taking them to the ambulances so that they can be rushed to the hospital. And you know, at the same time, we still didn't know if there was still an active shooter, if there was only one shooter, if there was another suspect that we weren't aware of. You know, I do want to thank Dallas PD for having their SWAT team arrived here. Their SWAT team cleared our office, our whole building, and they assisted with the aftermath. Now, you know, the aftermath, it took us a while back to get this office back into the shape that it is right now. You know, there was a lot of windows that were shot at. We have 15 windows in the back. 7 of those were shot at with multiple rounds. So you could see there's that frame there was up on a wall. Shot went through a window, went through a wall, and then hit that frame and that glass. It went through, and then it was embedded into like the middle of our office. So there was a lot of carnage, but you know, we overcame that, and you know, I'm proud to be here in Dallas doing the work that I'm doing, and I'm proud of the team that we have that goes out there every day to do the work that they're doing. You know, I'd like to say that there were many forms of heroism that day. Today, I am honored and proud to welcome Department of Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullen, who is here to recognize 3 of these, you know, heroes. I know he said, you know, the best of the best, and that's correct. I'll go ahead and I'll start off with recognizing Deportation Officer Andres Goche. Dio Goche demonstrated extraordinary courage during the active shooter incident, making the initial 911 call and providing critical information. He risked his safety to extract multiple detainees from a transport van under fire, enabling them to receive life-saving care and stabilizing them until advanced medical help arrived. Andres Goche. All right. Deportation Officer Marco Solis. Dio Solis responded under active threat, administering life-saving first aid to 2 critically injured detainees. He conducted immediate trauma assessments, provided emergency care, and coordinated with responders to ensure safe casualty movement. Marco Solis.
I was worried that wasn't going to fit around you.
Enforcement and Removal Assistant Christopher Pine. ERA Pine administered life-saving first aid to 2 detainees, establishing a casualty care area under duress. He provided direct emergency interventions, coordinated with responders, and sustained patient stability until transfer, directly contributing to the preservation of life. ERA Christopher Pine. And now I'll pass it on. I'll introduce Congressman Brandon Gill.
Thank you. And first of all, I want to thank Secretary Mullen for taking the time to come out to Dallas and to these genuine heroes for our country and everything that they've been doing. ICE and Border Patrol are on the front lines of not only defending American sovereignty, but keeping our communities safe and ensuring that murderers and rapists and gangbangers are not running loose within our neighborhoods. These are the guys who are making sure that America stays America, that it is a place where we can raise our kids safely and in communities that are conducive to American flourishing. And we're so thankful for the work you guys have done. Over the past several months, we've heard increasingly, really the past year, we've heard increasingly deranged rhetoric from the other side of the aisle, and I hear it every single day in Washington. I know you guys feel the impacts of that, referring to ICE and Border Patrol as Nazis, as the Gestapo, and far, far worse. And eventually, some lunatic is going to hear that and believe that they are the next Dietrich Bonhoeffer and act on that rhetoric, and that's exactly what happened here. That's the kind of stuff that we are sick of, that makes your lives more dangerous and puts America at risk. These, as it happens, the same people spewing this rhetoric are the same people who are holding up funding for ICE and for Border Patrol. They're given a binary choice. They can either fund ICE and Border Patrol, or on the other hand, make your jobs more dangerous. And Democrats have routinely, for the past several weeks, chosen the latter. So what I'd like to do is say thank you guys so much for the work that y'all are doing here to keep this country safe, to keep our border secure. You guys are true heroes, and we appreciate it. And thank you, Secretary Mullen, and of course we're thankful to the Trump administration for fulfilling their promise to keep our country safe.
Thank you, Brandon. And I want to point out again that, while we focus daily on getting the worst out the worst, or worst of the worst, we're definitely celebrating the best of the best. And it's frustrating to me when you hear the rhetoric of the left, and they're demonizing law enforcement for simply doing their job. And I'd like to point out that you see the individuals behind me. They're willing to run in and risk their lives for those that were under their protection. Those that the left want to demonize them for arresting because they broke our nation's laws. These three and many others were willing to run towards the gunfire, put their life at risk, put their families at risk of losing their loved ones. And I point out all the time that I guarantee you their family loves them as much as my family loves me, except they are here every single day upholding the standard of law that puts their lives at danger, and they're willing to do their job, in some cases for free, because the Democrats are still not wanting to pay them. They haven't missed a day. They continue to show up. They continue to do their job. They're continuing enforcing the nation's laws. And as secretary for the last 8 weeks, I've never heard them complain. And that's why I say I'm honored to be the secretary over, I think, the greatest group of federal employees, period. They're literally willing to do their job for free, and that's protect my yard, protect your backyard, and protect our homeland. And so, guys, thank you once again for doing that. You represent what we know is true, but unfortunately the American people, sometimes all they hear is the rhetoric of the left. And I'll tell you truly, I pray for you guys, I pray for your family, and I mean this sincerely. Love you. Thank you so much for what you do. With that, I'll stop, and we'll open it for questions. I'm going to ask Brandon to join me up here too, the congressman that really overdressed for this meeting, but it's okay. I mean, I appreciate it. You look good. I mean, I told somebody one time that, the difference between my suit and your suit is, right, is when I'm wearing a suit, I make the suit look good. This suit makes you look good. I'm just playing. So let's open up for questions, and we'll be willing to field anything you have.
Secretary Mullen, Brooke
Yes.
Miller with
Yes.
Fox News. We see what's going on in Europe with Delaney
Yes.
Hall. One officer was just bit in the arm. Then you had another young agitator who was just arrested for telling the officer he's going to kill him and his family.
That's right.
What are you specifically doing to protect these ICE officers who are just trying to do their jobs?
Well, first of all, we have zero tolerance. The president and I have talked about this. If you verbally assault our officers, if you attack our vehicles, if you attack our property, you attack the person themselves, we will arrest you. We have absolutely zero issue with you exercising your First Amendment in a peaceful protest. But when you're threatening the lives of an officer, that's verbal assault. When you threaten the lives of their family, that's verbal assault. When you spit on an officer, when you put hands on an officer, when you touch our vehicles, that is assaulting federal property and assaulting a federal officer, and we have zero tolerance, and we will arrest you. What I think the best thing that's happened at the detention center in New Jersey right now is the fact that state police finally was able to respond when the Governor Herrera, allowed them to. And it wasn't that state police and local law enforcement didn't want to help. They just were told not to help. We see over and over again in these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states where law enforcement officers, they want to do their job. That's why they signed up to do their job. But so often you have radical left leadership that doesn't allow them to do so. But when they did show up, they quickly realized these aren't peaceful protesters that the radical left politicians were telling you about. These were individuals that were well organized. We've arrested individuals that came in from Portland, not from New Jersey, came from Portland to lead. We've seen that they've been well supplied. We've seen Antifa flags being flown. And once the state police came out, and which, by the way, awesome group of guys, they understand crowd control very well, and they started pushing the individuals back after they warned them, started making arrests. You saw that the situation quickly got under control. Yep. And for us, when we first started calling, they were simply saying they didn't have the resources. Yeah. And it's interesting to me that they finally found the resources and started clearing their streets. Yep. We can control our building, we can provide security for our own building, but if the city and state streets, that is their job to do. However, we will do it if we have to protect our employees, to protect the detainees coming in and out, and protecting the property if required to. But right now we have great cooperation, and we hope that continues.
And last question is your message to young men and women who might see what's going on and they decide they don't want to enter this force and become an ICE officer because of all the hatred and violence that comes along with it?
Right now, our recruiting numbers are pretty strong. Regardless of what the left it likes to say out there, people want to join this mission. It's the greatest mission, period, and it's to protect our homeland. And so regardless of the rhetoric, young men and young women, men and women from other law enforcement is coming in and joining. We're providing the training, we're providing the resources they need to do their job, and we're going to continue to do so. And as I said before, as Secretary of Homeland, it's my greatest honor to be able to represent them, and we want to thank them every single day for doing the job that they do.
Secretary, Marissa Adamas with CBS News Texas. Just curious what you have to say to the families of the victims. I mean, they died in the custody of the United States.
What victims are you referring to?
In this shooting.
Oh, to here? Okay, I first of all, it should have never happened. The rhetoric that the left continues to want to spew out leads to what Brandon said, the congressman said, to this type of reaction, because when you spew it enough, eventually you're going to get someone that's mentally unstable that's going to take those words literally and not realize that it's just political theater. It's just for them to get clicks and for their social media to maybe get some attention. I tell people that in political business, people will hurt you a lot to gain themselves a little. And when the rhetoric we're hearing from the left put people's lives at risk, which has happened here, we're sorry. what we did as officers is we responded and did everything we could to save as many lives that we possibly could during that tragic day, but it should have never taken place. Yes.
You suggested that you're going to consider pulling CBP officers from airports you consider sanctuary jurisdictions. Is there any specific plan to do that in the works right now? And have you
What I specifically said in New Jersey was, since the state police and the local police says they don't have the resources to be able to respond, then we're going to have to get our resources from someplace else, because we're going to protect our men and women that work for us. And if they're not willing to do that, then we're going to pull resources too. And to pull those resources, the closest resource we have is our CPB officers at the airport. We can flex with those individuals, bring them out. They're licensed officers. We can help provide perimeters, provide security, and then we can allow our SRT to be able to go out and start clearing the streets and doing crowd control. When that takes place, I have to make a decision on my resources, just like the governor and the mayor was making decisions based on their resources. And if we do that by pulling them out of processing flights going into international airports, we will do that, because we have to have resources too. Keep in mind, we're still shut down. So our resources may not be where they should be, but our men and women are still showing up and doing their job.
in place right now where this is imminent?
Right now, yes. Do we have a plan to initiate it? Yes, we have a plan to initiate it if required. We're not required to do it because the state is cooperating with us, and I hope the governor will continue to cooperate with us. The mayor has been very cordial to work with too. The chief of police has been very cordial. And as long as we continue to have this partnership with local and state law enforcement, then there will be no need to do so.
To follow up on that, the transportation secretary has been critical of this plan. Have you spoken with him about it?
Actually, that's not accurate. The Secretary Duffy and I have been in communication on this. He understands. There was it was misreported out there saying that I was going to stop international flights from coming in, and I believe what he said is that I don't have the authority to do that. I don't. But I do have the authority to pull officers out if I have to, especially for security purposes for other federal officers, because we use, just like ICE can respond to airports when TSA was shut down and you saw ICE officers going in and helping process and helping with ground control. We flex with ICE officers at that time to the airport. When ICE is needing help, we can also flex with personnel that's at the airports, meaning the CBP officers, and bring them out to help ICE.
Yes. Former Border Patrol official Gregory Bovino has been critical, saying of your.
I never met the guy. I never met the guy.
To what he said about you?
No, he's irrelevant to me. I don't know who he is. What else, guys?
Question about the World Cup.
Yes, sir.
How the preparations been going? Has it been challenging? And here we're watching a game here in Dallas in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So FIFA is great. We have 9 games coming up here. Semifinals is going to be the last game. First game is going to be the June 14th against Japan and the Netherlands. Phenomenal facility. I mean, it's phenomenal. We just got in walking through the facility. We're doing all the preparations. We did get a little bit behind because the Democrats had a shutdown for 76 days, plus that's the 4th shutdown we've had in a year. This preparation has been going on for quite some time. We were behind on getting some federal grants out to local law enforcement, but I tell you, the work never stopped. This is what law enforcement does, regardless of the Democrats want to pay them or not. They continue to do their mission. They signed up to do a job because they were called to do it, not because they absolutely got into it for the pay. You'll see most officers aren't getting very wealthy. They're just providing a living, but they're willing to do their job for free. So even during the shutdown, preparation didn't stop. We have cooperation from federal agencies all through DHS and some through DOJ and through local and state. We have UAS technology going up. We have perimeters being pushed out. We're having the site being completely secured. So if you've had an opportunity to take a look at it, it's pretty impressive. And we repeat this, by the way, through 11 different cities. And we're going to have 78 Super Bowls in 38 days here inside the United States. The Super Bowl has around 250 million people that watch it. We're going to have 1.4 billion watching the FIFA games, and then we're going to have a little over between 5 and 7 international visitors to the United States, and we're going to be able to highlight the greatness of the United States along the way. So we're excited about it. A lot of preparation. The first game in the U.S. is the 12th, June 12th in LA, we'll be there. And then for the next 38 days, I expect my wife is going to see very little of me.
Secretary, I know you keep saying.
Let me go over here. Go ahead. Sorry, I heard a question come up.
Last question.
Oh, okay.
Secretary, I know you keep saying the left, but what type of data do we have to support these claims on attacks on agents, and how are we tracking that across the country?
What do you mean data? If I talk about percentages, death threats on ICE agents went up over 8,000%. Vehicle assaults went up over 3,300%. We've had assault on officers have went up over 1,500%. So that's real data. And when you start talking about the left, we see everybody in this room that's watched the news, 5 minutes of the news anytime in the last year, have heard the rhetoric that they keep spewing about our agents simply enforcing our nation's laws. And so you have to contribute that directly to what they're saying. When you see some of the activity that's going on, you see what the left is repeating, and then what you hear these crowds start chanting, you know it's coming directly from them. And it's very reckless on their behalf. They are literally spilling Americans' blood because of what they're saying. And there's no question about it. Every time an incident like this takes place, it is directly related to the hatred that they're doing for no other reason but to get some type of political attention, because they know that our officers that work within DHS and work across the nation, be it state, local, or federal, is enforcing our laws that these elected officials passed. They're doing it every single day, making sure that we get home safe, making sure even the ones that are spewing the most ridiculous and most hateful things, making sure those individuals still get home safe before they'll get home safe to their family. And that's why we should hold these individuals, not just the three here, but every single day we should be celebrating law enforcement, understanding the risks that they put their lives at every day to make sure we're able to walk our streets, drive our streets, and go to work and get home safe every day.
Are you considering having your wife designated as a special government
No.
employee? If so,
No, that's an absolute rag. That's lied absolutely about it. My wife doesn't want to be in the public eye at all.
All right, thank you, Press.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Man, Mr. Gill, man, I love that guy. Something about him yells out loud, America. Now, here is some peaceful protesters that I feel that police officers should be taking care of.
Chaos, violence outside of an ICE detention facility in New Jersey. Rioters ignored an emergency curfew order and instead went after the Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, police officers, and even their horses. Some people were throwing rocks and big pieces of wood while others lit fires in the street and tried to breach safety barricades. Mind you, the curfew's going on. They don't care. They just breached that. 20 people arrested, and we're watching to see if those protesters show up again today. This has been night after night after night for like 9 or 10 nights now. Outnumbered now. I'm Harris Faulkner. Joining us today, Lydia Hu, Fox Business correspondent. Kennedy, host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast. Lisa Booth, Fox News political analyst. And Marcus Lemonis, entrepreneur, Fox News contributor, and host of The Fixer on Fox Business and Fox Nation. Well, state and local police showed up when the crowd ignored the mayor's 9 p.m. curfew. They were fully kitted out in riot gear, forming a defensive wall in front of ICE agents and using their shields to block rocks and lumber that people were throwing. Cops had to deploy tear gas to try to push the crowd back. And here's another angle where you can...
The leftists peacefully protesting, guys. Knock it off. You know what, David? I haven't played my PlayStation in a long time. It started hurting when I was in Hawaii, to be honest. So it's been more than 3 days. It doesn't hurt. It just feels numb right here. Just that part right there. My wife says that's just a sign that I'm about to get a stroke. I've been stroking. I stroke it to the east, and I stroke it to the west. I stroke it to the woman I love best. Who knows about that, huh? Who knows about that song?
See the chaos that continued outside Delaney Hall. Separated by a barricaded fence, rioters screaming, cursing, and launching objects at these federal agents. Plenty of high-profile Democrat lawmakers have joined the protests. Did you hear what I said? They joined the violent protests and demanded DHS shut down the facility entirely. The rioters are facing serious charges after threatening and attacking ICE agents. This from the U.S. Code, just so you know how the law works. Whoever threatens to assault, kidnap, or murder a United States official, a United States judge, a federal law enforcement officer, shall be punished. Well, Marcus, I butchered your last name, forgive me, but the facts are what they are.
Yeah.
They can't, you know, I said last night, why don't they just arrest everybody? And some pushback has been, well, then this will escalate this. How do you, this is a riot.
Well,
it's already escalated.
It feels like it's become theater more than anything else. And the question that people have to have at home is, if there are rules established, if you don't like them, there's a methodology to changing them. But while they exist, the answer isn't beating people, threatening people, throwing rocks at people. And what I worry about is if this becomes the norm, every time somebody doesn't agree with the law, the answer can't be this. But at the same time, you want to respect people's right to protest. This doesn't look like protesting to me. This looks like absolute chaos.
You know, Lydia, the one thing that I did notice is, you know, because I live in New Jersey, full disclosure. So the governor, the new governor, Cheryl, doesn't like ICE. She ran on that. She's pushing it now. But local police were there. And they helped, and they worked with those federal agents last night.
You know, I'm a fellow Garden State resident, too, so I'm glad you mentioned that. So I've been following that quite closely. What is the reaction of our elected officials there in the Garden State? And Mikey Sherrill, the governor in particular, new to office, I feel like she's really kind of straddling both lines. To her credit, she did call in the New Jersey State Police.
Yeah.
You know, I think she deserves credit there. But I think a really good question to ask and to focus on are what were her initial policies as soon as she got into office? One of the things she did, she signed a bill into law that banned ICE agents from wearing masks. She signed executive orders that prevented and limited the amount of cooperation that state agencies can have with ICE as they're enforcing their own immigration orders from ICE. She's also prohibiting ICE from being on state property. When you have those types of policies rolled out, in addition to her blaming this past weekend ICE for what we're seeing unfolding on our screens, you have to wonder how much of her commentary is actually inviting this type of rioting.
Well, and Kennedy, that takes me to what does she really mean? Because those actions that Lydia just talked about, in part have helped us get here in yet another state in the United States.
Yeah, another state, another jurisdiction where, you know, lawmakers could work with federal law enforcement because, you know, the protesters, the rioters who are chanting "free them all," 90% of people don't want them all freed. You know, 90% of people want their communities to be safe, and they would much rather take a rational approach to take the most dangerous people out of this country and out of their neighborhoods, because a lot of people do feel threatened and they do feel terrorized. And for Mikey Sherrill, it is this all or nothing, me politics that, you know, I don't even know if she has a landing point for her political philosophy. She just wants to score as many points as possible by agitating the unwell. You know, that is what happens when you have governors and mayors step out and say, you know, like Tim Walz, like, get out your phone, make sure you're pushing back. Yeah. So, you know, normal people who want normally functioning communities, a protest might be a nice, rational idea. But for the unwell, they take that as a signal to push everything to its limit because they are addicted to the chaos. You know, and to Marcus's point, these are not people who are, you know, worried about standing up for the oppressed and vulnerable in their communities. They are protest tourists who get their jollies off on punching police horses and, you know, making things as extreme and as violent, no matter what the subject matter, no matter where they are.
You have elected officials who are there to support the law, endorsing it and supporting it and joining it.
Well, because this is what the Democrat base wants. Axios reported last July on the bloodthirst within the progressive base. You had Democrat lawmakers talking to Axios, and one said that constituents demand they be willing to get shot at ICE facilities. Another said there needs to be blood to grab the press and the public. A third said civility isn't working, prepare for violence to fight and protect our democracy. That's what we've seen across the country since then. At these ICE facilities, we've seen ICE officers shot. We've seen assaults increase exponentially. We've seen vehicle rammings. We've seen protesters die because they've engaged aggressively with some of these ICE agents as well. And then, as what's been pointed out on this couch, Democrat lawmakers, they're not discouraging it. They're lighting the match. They're encouraging it every time they call the ICE the Gestapo. Every time they make references to Nazi Germany, they are pouring gasoline on the fire, and it's further erupting. And as you pointed out, Harris, we've had 13 lawmakers on the Democrat side visit the Delaney Hall in the past 2 weeks alone. We had one member of Congress, a Democrat, arrested and charged for attacking federal agents, for assaulting federal agents. So I'm sorry, but this is what the Democrat Party today wants. It's evil, it's wrong, but until they condemn it, we're just going to see more of this, unfortunately.
So my big question, Lydia, is are these lawmakers showing up to a riot, or are they fomenting this on the front end? I mean, I think we need to take a closer look at how involved they could be.
And I think it's worth reminding everyone why this all started at Delaney Hall. It was over concerns about the quality of the food. How do we go from questioning what are they eating to suddenly allowing people shouting, I'm going to kill you at these riots?
Well, you know, and what's really interesting is, so we got a whole list of that. We showed it last hour, and it was all the ways that those things are being addressed. We've got the accused assassin. Well, they didn't want to prosecute him that way, but Luigi Mangione, they were worried about his food, who's a vegan, who's not among the accused assassins here in the country. I mean, we've gone so far afield from the crimes that are being committed. And look, this is not Iran. We imprison somebody, of course we have standards for how we feed and clothe and do all of that. But if you want to challenge on that, then let's talk about the menu. It's out today. We've done our homework. Last quick thought.
No, I have no, but this is so ridiculous. I was looking at the wall that had all the politicians that have actually visited in the last 2 weeks, and I don't know if we can put that up.
What legislation have they sponsored?
Well, I think it's bigger than that, and we talked about it just a minute ago, and I'll be short about it, is are they endorsed?
Kilmore Abrego Garcia, when he was in prison there.
Dad, Lisa.
The Maryland dad, yeah, who has been accused of being an MS-13 member, of human smuggling, of beating his wife, right? So it's not like they're just trying to stand with, women and children. They're standing behind criminals and trying to prevent their deportation.
They're trying to win points is what they're trying to win, the theater.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on
So over to the map, Jillian, we go from news from over the weekend. Come on over here and I'll tell you what's happening. Remember, Iran has claimed territorial claim, international waters of everything you see in pink. Whether or not and how long that upholds itself, we'll find out. The military action took place on this side of the water on Iran's territory, and they were going after this location here called Gork, another one here in Keshem Island. Talked a lot about Keshem Island as the Iranians want these vessels to go around their islands and pay a toll, which would take you really close to the Iranian border in order to navigate the strait. Here's what happened over the weekend. This drone, American-operated drone, an MQ-1, high sophistication, apparently was operating in international territory, was shot down in the sky by the Iranians. And that led to a U.S. response. We'll swing on over here and let you know what's happening. Remember, there was a ceasefire that went into place back on the 7th, 8th of April. Since that time, things were pretty relatively quiet, I would argue, until about a month ago, right? May 7th, that's when the U.S. strikes these Iranian missile and drone strikes on behalf of the Navy destroyers. Then last week, in fact, about a week ago today, CENTCOM was seeing these mine-laying ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and the U.S. military went after a number of sites. Then on Wednesday, we hit other radar and military facilities. Then this was the activity from Saturday and Sunday, all right? CENTCOM hit these Iranian drone sites after that drone was shot down. All that activity I just showed you over on the map took place. So that's where we are right now. But for the moment, despite the tit for tat, the ceasefire is holding. General Jack Keen's here. And General, great to get you on today, and hello to you. There are reports out of Tehran in the last hour saying that if the Israelis do not stop hitting Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, there's no more talking, and they will open up new fronts in this war if you do not listen. How do you read that on its face right now, General?
Well, on the face of it, despite the board briefing, which is excellent, the ceasefire is not holding, Bill. Let's face it. I mean, Iran is doing everything they can to disrupt the Straits of Hormuz even further. Why? Because we've been passing shipping through there, to be sure, and that's not a violation of any ceasefire. Iran has taken very aggressive actions, and we are defending ourselves against it quite handily, as you point out there. And just so our audience gets a grip on what is actually happening here, we had a ceasefire on April the 8th overall, and then a more specific ceasefire on April the 17th in Lebanon. And since April the 17th to today, the Iranians have fired over 2,400 missiles and drones into northern Israel. That is more than what Israel had to defend against during the 5 days when we are at war. That is the significance of it. And is that a ceasefire? Are they holding to that? Obviously, they're not. I mean, it's absolutely laughable that they're saying that what Israel is doing to defend itself is in violation of the ceasefire. We got to call it out for what is really happening here. And listen, give the president a huge amount of credit here. He's exercising some real strategic patience, trying to get a deal here. And he knows full well at some point he could run out of patience. One, because of their seriousness is lacking in getting down to the real terms of the deal. And we're going to find out over time. There's no reason to even speculate on what those terms are because we don't know. But the second thing is, he's right when he talks about holding the cards here. We have plenty of justification to go back to a war footing right now based on all these violations of the ceasefire that I just described. Yeah. He's not doing it. But they also know that he could do it. And if this behavior continues, it certainly undermines anything the Iranians are saying, Bill, about the seriousness of their wanting to make a deal. Yeah. And they're using, I think, this pressure to think that that's going to force us into making a deal sooner and making it more in terms of what they want to achieve themselves.
Okay, so I'm going to take it back
here
to,
sure.
last Friday afternoon, we're all waiting for news out of the Situation Room. It came later in the evening on Friday, around 6 o'clock. Reports undoubtedly the president sent Iran an answer. And this is what the New York Times is reporting about that response. They write the following: Trump's changes, a new, tougher proposal, were potentially intended to speed up the process by putting pressure on Iran to accept the framework already sent to Iran's supreme leader. Can you shed light on what that response might have been, sir?
I think we just can speculate about it. We don't know the specifics of it. But one of the barriers has always been the Straits of Hormuz, and they want to have some level of control over that in organizing it. Maybe remove the fees, but if they're still telling ships when they can go and what time to go, et cetera, and where to go, that's obviously control. We want none of that. We don't even want the implication there. What would be preferred would be if Iran made a statement that it is territorial, it is international waters, not territorial waters that they claim it to be, and it's freedom of navigation. I doubt seriously they would agree to a statement like that, but at least remove any threat that they're going to stay in some kind of organizational control over. The other stuff, I'm assuming, has something to do with nuclear and whether they're fully committed in the memorandum of understanding that we're trying to get them to sign, that there is a commitment there to ridding themselves of the nuclear capabilities that they have.
Okay, sir, if I could, on our part. I just want to characterize, you have a lot of good sources on this war. Are you more optimistic today or less optimistic than you were, say, at the end of last week?
Well, I've always cautioned whether we can really make a deal with these guys or not, because I think they're playing for time here, trying to drag this out. If 60 days gets us to the end of July, they want to drag it out likely even further. In their mind, they think the closer they get to the midterm elections, the less likelihood that the president would ever react to a negative deal with returning to military operations. I think that has a lot to do with their strategy. My own judgment about that is I believe they're miscalculating once again. Remember, we did the 60-day thing with them once before. Sure. This was prior to 12 June hostilities going on for our audience to understand. And he gave them 60 days. And what did they do? They did not fulfill the deal. On the 61st day, he gave the green light to Israel to attack Iran. So I believe we're on the path for them to miscalculate once again. And we could see ourselves returning to military operations because of that miscalculation.
Okay, right on. General, thank you so much. It's good to touch base with you as we begin a new week. Thank you, sir.
Brent oil is at 86.38. I'm not sure. You know, some sites, they show different numbers, but this has been the trade that I've been using. The pricing has been more legit. Now, Trading Economics shows it at 95.13 as of today. Let's see what else we got. As of right now, I have it under the Brent last day financial. We have it at 86.43. It had a big spike, but it has now dropped to 86. And it opened at 85.57. The high, it looked like it was at 87.88. The whole point is that the gas prices are going to keep fluctuating, and that's just the way it goes. Now, granted, there is a lot of price gouging out there, plus the regulation, the taxes from the federal and local state, city tax, sales tax, etc. That makes the price of of gas very expensive. Now, I want you to always remember this when somebody's comparing gas prices with you. I want you to always remember this. During Joe Biden's administration, right, the digital pen, the gas price, the barrel of oil went up to $130. And it was giving us, right now, the same price that we have right now is what they were giving us at $130 a barrel of oil. Right now we're at 86, some say 95, but either way, why are we paying, think about it, it's about $40 to $45 less for the barrel of oil today, and we're paying higher prices in gas. You gotta have that in mind. If somebody comes and tells you, oh, why the gas price is so high? Well, and I ask myself, why is it so high? Well, you go do some research and then you find out that the gas price is that high because of regulation and taxes. The new Green New Scam deal, that has caused a lot of economical burden on the American people, especially on blue cities and states. I'm going to tell you, for Hawaii to have the same price, $5.49 a gallon, as it is over here in Washington State at $5.49 a gallon, there's a problem with that. Because Hawaii, Honolulu, Waikiki in the Pacific, it's about 2,000 something miles away from here. It is an island. Imports are higher. And it is crazy that people don't see the economical burden that socialist Democrats are putting on all of us, on every single taxpayer, every single one of you guys who works and pays taxes. There is a big burden that your local government is putting on you, and you gotta be able to call it where you see it. With that being said, I think that President Trump also should do an executive order to cancel federal taxes on gas. Let's start there. Allow the local government to think about it, and I want to see socialist Democrats do better than President Trump. I want to see President Trump take those federal taxes off. I want to see what the Democrats do on the local government. $1.47 to $1.50 a gallon of gas. If you're not complaining about taxes and local regulation, charges, and all this other stuff, you shouldn't complain about Trump. With that being said, I got other things to do, but I will go live momentarily, probably a couple hours. I don't know. We'll see. I will probably try to go live on my car because I got other things to do. But guys, stay informed. Don't let the libtards beat you on information. Okay? That's all from me. My name is Dennis Herrera for the Dennis Herrera Show. Thank you all my subscribers, all of my members. I love you all. Thank you so much for being with me in Hawaii. Thank you for being with me on the submarine, the airport show, and the old planes. God bless you all my patriots. God bless you all vets. All of you who have family in the military, God bless you. May God watch over you and your loved ones. My love to you all. Thank you so much for being with me. Till the next one, you know how they say. Peace.